to the postseason.
Now here's Dave Gasper.
Welcome into DND, a Thursday edition, a Thirsty Thursday edition of DND here on the Game Radio Network. I'm Dave Gasper. There is Nick Brusewitz. And without Doug Russell once again today, recovering. It is cold and flu season around here. You know, we see the weather start to turn a little bit, and now the sickness kind of heading around. Get your vitamin C, people. Get your vitamin C, vitamin D, and you know, try and stay healthy out here because Nick, it feels like the cold and flu season has just ravaged this place and everyone around here lately.
Yeah, and it's hit me. It hit you a couple weeks ago. Doug's dealing with it now. Everyone here in Madison, I think it's been kind of a symphony of coughs for the last couple of weeks. It's that time of the year. We had a pretty drastic change in weather. It was really warm in October until it was very cold in early November. It's going to be great this weekend. Maybe everyone gets healthy again. Saturday looks like it's going to be like 60 degrees. But as it stands now, our guy Doug's still on the mend, hoping that we'll see him on the show tomorrow. But in the moment, it's you and me powering through. I got my Brett Favre Jets jersey on in honor of tonight's Patriots-Jets game. It's Kmart brand, I think. I don't know what brand. I couldn't find it this morning. But I found it in my basement at home, and I brought it to Madison with me. It's nothing special, but it's Brett Favre and it's Jets. So
that sounds pretty special to me.
We may not have the best version of DND today, but just like Hall of Famer Brett Favre in his time. It's not just
don't talk so negatively about us.
I'm not saying negative. I'm just saying we appreciate Doug. We love when we have our full ensemble. We're playing injured. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, we're not at full strength today, but Doug's gonna be back. He's strengthening up. He's on the trainer's table, and he's gonna be back soon, better than ever. So
that's good. That's what we need.
Yeah, which is totally what the Brett Favre Jets jersey signifies, because there was no better era in Brett Favre's career or the Jets franchise history than when Brett Favre was there.
No matter what, he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, it was a Hall of Fame career no matter what. Were there better chapters? Of course, there were better chapters.
Text messages sent? Yes.
Right. Jen Sturger probably wasn't a huge fan of his time in New York. We actually know that for a fact, but I digress. This is one of those days where, like I said, I do not have that many jerseys. So when there's a relevant one, I'll pull it out. And tonight the Jets are playing, just like last week I had Tebow. You know, it had this game been between the Chargers and I name a team, the Chargers and the Jaguars, I wouldn't add anything. I don't have any Chargers or Jaguars here.
No, I would imagine not. But that raises an interesting question here, Nick, about how many jerseys. You said you don't have that many jerseys. What qualifies as that many for you?
That's right.
So that's really kind of the question. So I want to know. I want to ask you, the listener, how many jerseys do you have? How many? Whether it's baseball, football. You want to go hockey sweaters, NBA jerseys. How many jerseys do you have, and which one is your favorite? You not necessarily favorite player, but favorite jersey that you have. Send them in at the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line 877-794-1973. One of Nick's favorite jerseys is his Kmart brand Brett Favre New York Jets jersey.
One of your favorites.
Okay, so it's not the favorite for you.
It's not a favorite. It's just one of the jerseys I have.
What is your favorite jersey then?
Man, right now in the present, probably the Aaron Rodgers 8 from the Steelers that I just got most recently. I mean, it's the most timely, it's the most unique, I think. And I mean, I got Rodgers in the mail from Alex in Cambria. Appreciate him. He sent us his Aaron Rodgers Packers jersey. He gave that to me a couple months ago. Pretty sweet. I got a Rodgers 8 from the Jets. I will probably not wear that often. That I just wanted for the novelty. $20 marked down from $160 to $20. I had to buy it. And then most recently the Rodgers Steelers. But I guess between all sports with players' names on them, because I got a couple of blanks, right? I got a Blackhawks, red, uni, blank. Cubs one I've worn.
Got it, yeah.
That's right, on occasion. I have the Steelers. No, I don't have a Steelers blank. What else to say? Cubs pinstripe. You've seen me wear it. That one doesn't have a name on it.
Yeah, I think, but that's my least favorite jersey. I think
probably would be your least favorite. I think I got somewhere between 15 and 20, but that's across sport. You know, I got a few NBA, a handful of NFL, probably somewhere between 5 and 10 NFL, and you know the couple baseball ones. So
yeah.
Okay. I don't know, 15 to 20. That's probably the number where I land. Some that I've sized out of, including my Big Ben Bumblebee one, the striped black and yellow.
The Bumblebee?
I loved it when I was like 13. And then a Cam Newton one I got when I was 11. Probably squeeze into it. Wouldn't be able to move my arms, but I liked Cam when he was a rookie.
A lot of people.
Others I've sized out of.
Yeah, gotten a little too big in the belly.
Well, I'm a
there.
grown adult now, you know. So unfortunately, it took me longer than average.
Yeah.
Took me a little bit longer than average to grow out of like the youth sizes, just because I've always been a string bean, right? I was able to, you could squeeze them on. This one's not particularly big. Like it's like pretty tight on the skin. I mean, you can see my nipples
skin
through
tight.
it.
Now you're just trying to show off over there, aren't you? Just trying to be like, oh yeah, you're wearing the Schmedium jersey. You're showing off the Schmedium today.
It's the dorkiest cut. It's got the V-neck. it's really a dorky jersey, but I mean, I found it in the basement at home. What's it going to do? Hang up and collect dust?
Yeah, maybe. And you can see Nick showing off the jersey on the Facebook, X, and YouTube stream where we're streaming every single day the show here on DND. And there you go. Yeah, circling back and forth. Yeah, doing a spin. That's
model spin. Do a spin for me.
That's incredible. Pat Murphy told me to do that during the NLCS. Told me to stand up and like spin around and like show off it. Then he like made fun of me for my shirt being untucked. I'm like, Pat,
oh no,
like my torso's like kind of long here. Like I can't really tuck it in. Just kind of untucks. Like the shirt's not that long. And he's like, well, we got people to fix that. I'm like, the shirt or the height? Like, I don't know.
That's right. No, not the height.
Yeah,
I actually did just see something about, I don't know, Dave, if you've ever seen this. I mean, there is a procedure that people can undergo to become taller. And it's like fracture your legs and then put like essentially metal rod extensions and then, your legs heal and you're taller.
Yeah, I saw that in a movie one time.
That's absurd.
Yeah.
That is absurd. What movie?
Gattaca.
Oh, never heard of it.
I watched it in like high school biology class or something. Like our teacher showed it to us, and it was crazy. But
1997.
Yeah, dude, it's a little bit of an older movie, but it was pretty good.
It's a real thing that people can do, and I'm like, Dad, it's got it.
People do.
I wonder if could you do the opposite? I'm not asking you personally if you could do the opposite, but is there a procedure for people who feel like I'm too tall? Let me take it down a couple notches.
I don't think any of us have ever really wanted to do that. And I think that's just called amputation of like, they'll just cut you off at the knees and, then you're shorter. But thankfully I've never done either procedure. I've never done the get shorter procedure. And I never had to do the get taller one. That's, I'm sure there are some who are like, I mean, you got to be really, at a desperate point to be trying to do that. I mean, my goodness, just own it. I know it's easy for me to say, but if you're a short king, just own it. Make it a thing. Like they can, be proud of it.
I was watching this movie called Materialists last night with my girlfriend, and it's Dakota Johnson and Chris Evans, Captain America, and Pedro Pascal. And Pascal's character underwent the leg extension surgery at one point in his life, apparently. So he went from 5'6" to 6 foot tall. And kind of the whole premise of the film is Dakota Johnson is like a matchmaker and the value of having 6 feet versus 5'9" or whatever in women looking for men. And so I hit that bar. I'm right there. I'm 6 foot flat, and you just blew right through it. You're like, what? 6 foot, more like 6'8".
Yeah, I hit 6 foot in like 8th grade. I think.
Thank God you're not 6'7".
Oh my goodness, that'd be the worst now at this point. That would be the absolute worst. Yeah.
How tall are you? 6'7", 6'7".
Oh man, the amount of people that ask me that all the time, it's incredible. But yeah, I'm very glad to be at 6'8". You're right in that middle ground between 6'7" and 6'9". So you got everyone's like, oh, just kind of dealing with it.
Yeah, you and LeBron James, same height.
Totally, which means we have the exact same skill set as well. But
Pretty
LeBron
much.
James, I do not have his jersey. I'm sure Billy has a LeBron James jersey somewhere, but I do not. So we've been asking you on the NicoletLaw.com talking text line 877-794-1973. How many jerseys do you have across all sports, and which one is your favorite? Aaron in Carolina says about 25-ish. 6 Favre jerseys, all teams except Atlanta. Favorite is my custom Bucks jersey with my name on it. Now that's a good one too, with the jersey customization, being able to get your own last name on the jersey. I've got a Brewers jersey with my last name on it as well.
That's pretty cool.
I don't wear it a ton anymore. I got it when I was a little bit younger.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if that one's my favorite at this point then, because I'm about same as you, Nick. I got about 15 or so jerseys. And like 13 of them are Brewers, which is probably not surprising to you in the slightest. It should not be surprising at all. I've only got 2 Packer jerseys, which I think is a little bit weak. The Packer jersey game is definitely the weakness there for me. The only ones that I got are Aaron Rodgers and Randall Cobb. So I need to get some updates on that. 2 great players,
that will last forever, right? It's not like you got. I had a buddy who bought
a couple years ago when I got when Randall Cobb came back. I'm just like, let's go! I got use again.
That's huge. Was it? Now I'm blanking on his name. Was his name Demarius Randall?
Yes, Demarius Randall.
When I was
first-round pick, he was awful.
6th or 7th grade, I had a buddy who had a Clinton Dix jersey and a Demarius Randall jersey. Oh. And I was like, what do you even do with those? Like, I've had the dishonor, I guess, the poor luck of getting, I got a James Conner jersey for Christmas one year. I'm a Steelers fan. Next year, he's gone. I bought myself a Juju Smith-Schuster jersey. Next year, he was gone. Like, you got to be careful with who you're grabbing and what.
Yeah.
It's just not right. And pause. Yeah. Watch where you're grabbing things too. I mean, that is good. That's good practice as well. But I mean, when you're buying jerseys, there is a risk like that it's going to become somebody who is completely irrelevant in the thread of your team's history. Like you gotta go for someone that has had lasting impact.
And some people have that curse where as soon as they get a jersey or as soon as they get something for their favorite player, that player is gone like almost immediately. Some people have that. I believe my sister does, and which is why my sister no longer gets jerseys with anyone's names on them. She just gets blank jerseys. Just like I want the team apparel. I don't want any specific player because they are going to either be terrible or be hurt or be traded immediately after. So that is a bit of a struggle. And Nick, I thought we had a bunch of jerseys here with 15 to 20-ish. Right. We got nothing on unnamed in the 920 here, who says I have over 200 jerseys. Dang, that's incredible. 200. My favorite is my authentic Brett Favre Super Bowl 32 jersey, even though we lost. Wow. Now that is an incredible jersey. Brett Favre Super Bowl 32. Keep them coming here on the NicoletLaw.com talking text line 877-794-1973. Red Hot Tim Knott says, not a jersey guy, so I have legit one, a Dallas Clark white authentic Colts jersey.
Wow. A great player from his time. I mean, it's really random. Maybe we got a Colts fan. It has to be a Colts fan. Red Hot. Is that it? What is the connection to Dallas Clark there? That's my question. Also, as I'm wearing my Jets Brett Favre jersey, I think in most markets that would be really random. Here in Wisconsin, it makes a little bit of sense, right? Favre fans.
I would like to know, but it's also his Jets jersey.
Right. I mean, I just want to know people's random jerseys. If I walked in here with a Brett Favre Vikings 4 on, I think it would be a lot more, a lot more frustration coming back my way.
I would drive up to Madison to slap you in the face if you did that.
So that's the thing, right? So people got random jerseys. That's my.
Yeah.
I have a Lowry Markkanen Bulls jersey. That's pretty random. I bought it when he was a rookie with the Bulls. I got Nikola Vucevic jersey in my closet at home at this moment. Yeah, I mean, I'm very much fluid when it comes to NBA fandom. I'm a Bulls and Bucks guy. I mean, they're irrelevant to one another because the conference and the division don't matter.
Yeah,
so,
I'll tell you the random jersey that I have hanging up in my closet. I got a Carlos Correa Astros jersey.
Okay. Does it come with the speaker system? Does
it come with the buzzer? Yeah. Does it come with a trash can? No, sadly, it did not come with that. But
he's a good player. I don't blame him.
He was, yeah. And like when I was watching that 2017 run, I mean, Correa was incredibly fun to watch, and I'm just like, man, this guy's a really good player. I like watching him. So I wanted to get one of his jerseys. So yeah, I did, and that's probably the most random one that I end up having here. Let's see. We got Nick from Waukesha saying, I have 2 Brewers, 3 Packers jerseys. My favorite is Craig Newsome. Oh, Craig Newsome's fantastic jersey there to roll with.
That's right.
Mailman Jeff, I've got so many jerseys in tubs in my basement because I bought them and then they were traded. I now have a new rule. I will not buy a jersey until said player is retired from my team. Okay, I kind of like that rule from Mailman Jeff there. Because he's one of those guys that I was talking about, like my sister, who they just have the worst luck when whatever jersey they get, whatever player, it's like, oh, man, I really like this guy. They end up getting traded. They end up getting cut or released or getting injured or something, some sort of bad luck. Something happens to them. So, yeah, wait until they retire. And then it's like, okay, now I'm going to get this jersey. So just kind of have that waiting list. Almost for jerseys there.
That's right. I am tempted every time I go to Dick's Sporting Goods. They have some pretty cool, authentic Reggie White, Charles Woodson, Brett Favre. And I'm like, do I really want to spend $160? And I don't, because I'm like, $160 is a week of pay, but it's a week of pay worth the enjoyment. So, I mean, we
only got so many more weeks of that left.
That's right. So you gotta maybe put those on your Christmas wish list because they're sweet. They're absolutely sweet.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I've got a fresh Packers jersey put on my Christmas list.
Really?
Up here. Oh yeah.
Big Sean Ryan fan, I guess.
No, not Sean Ryan. Who do you think? Do you think I'm Billy Schmidt putting offensive lineman on there? But
okay.
No.
Well, now I got to guess. Is it Matthew Golden?
It is not. Although I thought about putting Matthew Golden.
It's Tucker Kraft. Good call.
Yeah, it's Tucker Kraft.
Good call. I mean, that's obvious. He's the best player. I mean,
absolutely. Yeah.
Rep him while he's out. Make him realize that, he's loved when he comes back. We got a lot of people weighing in here. This is a good conversation. Always is. Yeah. People got jerseys. Heller was such a stickler about jerseys. You don't wear jerseys. You can only wear jerseys to people that are older than you. It's weird if you wear them about people that are younger than you. Like, what the hell? Like, if you ever bought a Jackson Churio jersey, that was weird.
I do have a Jackson Churio jersey.
Well, I have no issue with it. Other people, maybe others need to, realize that people want to rep the players they like.
Yeah.
Like Tucker Kraft. He's younger than you.
Yeah. A lot of these guys are, as we're getting older here, Nick, a lot of these guys end up being younger than you, but it's
Matthew Golden, I guess if I got a Golden jersey, he's younger than me.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what happens. And I mean, for Heller, then, I mean, who's going to have jerseys of?
That's
because all these pro athletes are going to be younger than him.
Bart Starr, guys from those teams.
Keep them coming. 877-794-1973 is the NickLayLaw.com talking text line. We're talking how many jerseys do you have and which one is your favorite? And we got a couple more in here. Dan of the Mano, I feel like Charlie Bucket. I only have 2. The purple Bucks one is the better of the 2. The Bucks have had a number of different color schemes for their jerseys over the years here. But purple one is Dan of the Mano's favorite. I mean,
pretty much every color. I mean,
yeah.
I'm trying to think of a color that they haven't rolled with. Orange. I don't know if there's ever
Probably.
been an orange Bucks jersey.
You know, why don't we? I mean, orange for deer hunting season, you know? Why don't we do that? That's a great idea, actually. Because everyone's out there in their blaze orange for deer season, which is coming up soon here, I believe.
I'm trying to find. So there's the Nike, they do their City Connect editions or whatever. And there is a year here. I don't know if you remember it, but it's yellow, orange, and red. So, I mean, this is probably from like 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
2018, 2019. And it has majority orange. So maybe there's the NBA does too much. I think that everyone can agree on that. Too many different jerseys, because now you're going to come back and look at them in 15 years. You're going to be like, okay, that was the 2018 or the 2019 or the 2020 or the 2021 City Connect. I can't remember. And that's the problem. But I think that this is an interesting conversation to be had about, first and foremost, favorite jerseys, how many you got, which one's your favorite, which one's the most random, but also your Christmas conversation just there makes conversation as well. Who is the guy that you feel most comfortable buying a jersey on in the Green Bay Packers? And is it Jordan Love? If not, I don't know. That might say something about your belief in the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily that I don't want, Jordan Love. I
thought
know
about
you
that
one too, but it's,
I know that's not the case with you. I'm saying essentially, I just laid out there why I don't want specific players, because I don't feel comfortable they'll be around long enough. If you're hesitant to buy a Jordan Love jersey, that might mean you think he may not be the guy.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, or maybe just don't want him to get hurt or whatever it is. Because sometimes it's injury luck, sometimes it's traded not as good. Who knows? But there's plenty of superstitions around jerseys. The ones that you got to wear on game day, because some jerseys you wear them on game day and they don't work. And sometimes they're the ones that they are the lucky ones that you have to wear. But keep them coming. 877-794-1973. How many jerseys do you have? Which one is your favorite? And, we're going to be talking about Jordan Love a little bit here, and Tucker Kraft and all these other guys coming up on the other side, because the Packers got a big game coming up this weekend as they're facing the New York Giants, a get-right game possibility for them. They're dealing with injuries. They have to get themselves back on track before they get to 3 straight games in the NFC North. We're going to get to that on the other side and more from you on the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line at 877-794-1973. It's D&D here on the game.
Want to watch DND? They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
I like him even more.
Just search 97.3 The Game. If you missed No BS, you missed out on this.
I am not saying that it's an outlandish take to question for in call for Matt LaFleur's job today. I'm not going to do it. I will say, if they play offense like this at the end of the year, they will be looking for a new head coach. Like, it's simple as that, because you have too much talent, too much invested. And when you trade 2 first-round picks for defensive star, the goal is the NFC title game at worst. And again, like, their points per game average in losses is now going to best the 2000s Ravens.
So that's
one of the best defenses of all time.
Right.
So I don't know that that's them, as the kids would say. I don't know, he's him. But I do know that defense, and you'll hear it a refrain commonly, championship level. The offense has to get on a heater. And I firmly believe that Jordan Love can.
He's done it.
He has done it.
Yep.
Will they be able to in 2025? It'll be maybe the most impressive, because the pressure is absolutely on.
Listen to No BS with Billy and Armin every weekday from 6 to 10 right here on The Game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1974.
For the band on the run. Band on the run.
In January of 1974, the top-selling album of the year is released, Paul McCartney and Wings' Band on the Run. Bob Dylan, backed by the band, has his first #1 album with Planet Waves. In February, Jersey City's Kool and the Gang have a top 5 hit with Jungle Boogie. New York City's Kiss released their debut, which sold 75,000 copies without a hit single. In March of 74, Canadian band Rush released their debut album, Get a New Drummer, and go on their first U.S. tour. David Essex has the first of many top 10 hits in the UK and his only U.S. hit with the single Rock On, which goes to number 5. And Steely Dan hit the top 5 with the single Ricky Don't Lose That Number and have a top 10 album too with Pretzel Logic.
Ricky, don't lose that number. It's the only one you know. You might use it if you feel better. When you get home.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1974. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1972.
In May, the Rolling Stones spend the year recording in southern France and released the double album Exile on Main Street. It goes to number 1 in both the US and the UK. California band the Doobie Brothers score a hit off their second album, Toulouse Street, with the single Listen to the Music. More from the summer of 72, Curtis Mayfield is back on the charts with a soundtrack for the film Superfly. The album yields 2 top 10 hits with Freddy's Dead and the title track. And former Zombies keyboardist Rod Argent has a hit album and a number 5 single in the US and the UK with Hold Your Head Up.
Hold your head up. Hold your head up. Hold your head up. Hold your head up.
Harry Chapin's performance of the song Taxi on The Tonight Show 2 nights in a row leads to a hit. And struggling UK band Mott the Hoople get help from fan David Bowie, who produces their album and writes them a hit, All the Young Dudes, which peaks at number 3 in the UK and in the top 40 in the States.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1972. Coming up.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Rick Springfield to get some insight on his latest release, Rocket Science.
It's a guitar-based record for sure, and I love big hooks, and not a country record at all. It's a rock and roll record, but it does have some country elements.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from Rick Springfield and all your favorite artists. iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Rick Springfield to discuss some of the differences between his acting career and his music career.
The hardest part is actually getting up at 5 a.m. for being on the road and then going out and playing. That's actually the toughest thing. The traveling has always been the hardest thing. I mean, I can get up at 5 o'clock in the morning for an acting gig because, it's not high exertion. You're basically being driven somewhere and you just got to work on the part. But this shows what I do it for because of the connection. That's my connection to people.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from Rick Springfield and all your favorite artists.
You can't touch this. You can't touch this. You can't touch this. You can't touch this.
Welcome back to DND on the Game. People are probably saying you can't touch this to my jersey collection that we're talking about here on DND today. You ever got one of those jerseys like, don't touch it? Can't touch this. You're going to mess with the mojo, mess with the juju. Don't put it in the washing machine because it's got luck in it right now. You ever done that, Nick?
I try not to wash my jerseys because I think I'm going to ruin them. So typically I wear an undershirt under things, more often than not, you can get away with not washing the jersey like this one I'm wearing today. If it doesn't smell, I'm not going to wash it. I'm sorry. It's just, it's not a high quality jersey. I'm nervous that the logos will fall off in the wash. We'll see.
Hasn't been washed since 2008.
It's got it's got an actual NFL logo, at least on the tag. So I think it's, certainly not like DH Gate or fake.
Yeah.
But it's not
you said you got it at Kmart.
Manufactured. That's my guess. I don't know where in 2008, I was 7 until I turned 8 late in the year. So I'm assuming I wasn't part of the purchasing process here. I think it's my brother Alex's. I can't tell you for certain, but
Okay.
it is not like it's not like what today's jerseys are like. I do think jerseys hit a peak probably in the 90s and then went backwards in the 2000s, got a little bit better for a while. Now Fanatics makes them all, so they're not that great, but
yeah,
it's good enough, and it tells you exactly what it is. It's a Jets Favre jersey. It's got the number, the logo, and the name.
Yeah, you are able to figure out what it is. We got we've been asking on the Talking Text, NicoletLaw.com Talking Text line 877-794-1973. How many jerseys do you have? Which one is your favorite? And which one is perhaps your most random jersey? Phil in Merrimack has a William Henderson jersey. All right, we're going with the fullback.
Well, that's pretty cool.
I love it. So there we go. Phil in Merrimack with the William Henderson jersey here. Unnamed in the 414 has 20 to 25 jerseys. His three favorites: an Aaron Rodgers Cal jersey, Hank Aaron Braves jersey, and a Purple Bucks Ray Allen. Those are three pretty darn good jerseys right there.
Not too shabby at all. The Cal jersey is pretty sweet. It's, I guess, the only Rodgers jersey I don't have. Like I have the three pro jerseys.
Yeah.
Guess I could get Cal. Also, the JUCO he played at. Maybe I could find that one.
Butte Community College.
Cal. There you go.
Yeah.
I'm sure that exists. I'm sure someone has made replica jerseys of that.
Somewhere. Yeah. Maybe you got to go to the Butte Community College bookstore, and maybe they'll have it there in a nice little corner of the bookstore.
Maybe.
Yeah. I don't know where else you find it. DH Gate probably doesn't even have that one. But it's quite the run. Talking Text line is blowing up here. We got Diamond Dave saying, I want to buy a Garrett Mitchell jersey, but I can't until he plays more than a half season. Yeah. I get that, Diamond Dave. We're all anxiously awaiting that.
Did Mitchell have one of the Euchre patch auction jerseys? I'm trying to remember if he was on that list, right?
He might have. I mean, I don't think he was there.
He wasn't, but there were, a series of guys, right? That were,
they
not
probably
necessarily
made
on the
it.
team.
They probably made one and had it for the auction. I'm
just wondering
guessing
where
that
he
one
would rank
cost a
on
lot
that.
less than the Christian Yelich one. We got
Definitely.
we got Asian Crisolani. I have a Keston Hira jersey, Zach Greinke, Giovanni Gallardo, and Carlos Gomez. All right, that's a pretty solid collection there. Adam from Rothschild, Wisconsin. I have about 16 Packers jerseys, including a Jeff Janis, Jared Abbrederis, and Josh Jackson Packers jersey. Oh man. Now that's a collection of random Packers right there. My goodness.
Yeah, you get the most random ones as possible. Hey,
Jeez.
good for him.
Yeah.
You're spending your cold, hard cash on things. It better make you happy. And if you're an Abbrederis guy and you get an Abbrederis jersey, we certainly have double respect for him, knowing his relationship with programs here in the state.
Oh, yeah. The Wisconsin Badger legend, Jared Abbrederis. I mean, when the Packers drafted him, I was so excited to finally see someone from the Badgers that I knew get drafted to the Packers. It was so fantastic to see it actually come true. And Adam from Rothschild also adds his favorite jersey is his 2010 Aaron Rodgers throwback. So that's another fantastic pull right there. So keep them coming. 877-794-1973. Nick is wearing his Brett Favre Jets jersey today, which got us really kind of all started here on jersey conversation because it's not his favorite. It's perhaps a favorite, but it's not
just.
I'm
going to tell you right
wore.
now, it's just one I own. It's not in my top 10. It's just one I own. Maybe even my bottom 5. It's not particularly good looking. It's not. It's just solid white with Jets logos on the arms and number 4 and the name Brett Favre. That's the reality here. It's not necessarily even a favorite. But while we're on the conversation of the Jets, the home of the Jets is also the home of the Giants, and that's where the Packers are going on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And what Xavier McKinney has described as a must-win. We'll hear that later in Bruisers Bites, maybe in additional updates as well. This is a huge week for the Packers. This is one that they absolutely have to win because there's no reason to believe that when they're at 5-4-1 following what would be a loss if they do lose this one, that all of a sudden they're going to be a much better team and go on a run against some of the best competition they'll play this year in their final 7 games.
Yeah, I mean, this is a game that they have got to be able to, get themselves right and find some sort of rhythm, find some sort of momentum, because this is important. I mean, when you look at the schedule that they have coming up, I mean, you have the conference or the division games, but also your non-division games. You're facing the Broncos and the Ravens after this. I mean, that's what you got. You have Broncos, Ravens, and 5 divisional games after this to end the season. And really, really tough stretch. So this is the one where it should be the most likely to win, the one that you really got to have, because if you don't get it this week, Nick, it's hard to imagine them being able to go on that kind of run to secure a playoff spot and be in position to perhaps get a Super Bowl this year, which is what all the talk was after weeks 1 and 2.
Yeah, and you beat good teams in those games. I know that Washington has fizzled out this season, but at that moment, they were as close to healthy as they had been the entire year, and he couldn't get it done. And they couldn't get it done, of course. The Packers did. Washington couldn't get it done. So 2-0 after the first 2 games against teams that we thought would be NFC title contenders, one of which the Lions very much is. But they've now kind of gone under some sort of metamorphosis in Detroit. They have handed over play calling duties to Dan Campbell, even though they weren't necessarily playing poorly. But you lose to the Vikings at home, and that's what happens. Play calling switches hands, and Dan Campbell puts up a 40-piece on the same Washington team I just made mention of that gave up 27 to the Packers. Well, the Lions put up 44. Okay, well, you're comparing yourself to the current iteration of the Lions. You're feeling like, okay, that's a pretty damn good team. The Bears are 6-3. I think the Packers are just as good, if not better than the Bears, but record is what it is. And you have to prove that you're the caliber of team that needs to be a force to be reckoned with down the stretch, as you highlighted those games at which in the non-conference they have Broncos and Ravens, and pairing that with your entire divisional schedule. I guess it's a hell of a game for the Packers in terms of how they can move forward and what they will be moving forward. If they do not win this game, I think a lot of people will jump on the Fire LaFleur bandwagon that has now started running down the tracks.
Yeah, it would only get worse. It would only grow louder if that ends up being the case, because as we've talked about quite a bit, and what has been a talking point throughout the entire season since Ed Policy took over, that you have Gutekunst and LaFleur who are heading into, I mean, this is their second to last year of their contract. Next year would be the last year on their contracts. Ed Policy says he does not believe in having lame duck contracts. So this is the prove it year for both of those guys to see if they can get contract extensions. He didn't want to do it right away. He wanted to wait and see how this year went. And the way this year is going, if it goes off the rails here and you have a loss against the Giants, it is fair to wonder whether or not he's going to be able to stick around for the long term. Now, outside of Green Bay, outside of Wisconsin, you got the Dan Orlovskis and others of the world who think Matt LaFleur, like, hey, he's doing a fantastic job. He's a great coach. Do not talk about firing him. That would be stupid. That's not a smart move. But here, with what Policy has said, with what we're looking at with this team, there is that concern. There is that consternation, if you will, about the team, about LaFleur's position, because there is the worry about the team with a lot of these losses that seem very, very preventable when you've averaged allowing just 13 points in your losses this season. It just leads to that much concern. And we talked a little bit about it yesterday with maybe there's a little bit of a firing fever in Wisconsin sports with Luke Fickell and the Badger program. Everyone is kind of like, okay, well, let's make a change somewhere. Let's fire someone. Fickell gets a win on Saturday, and then a very bad looking loss for the Packers on Monday. And then, maybe just kind of misdirection, just start placing that firing fever on someone else. Maybe that's part of it. But if the Packers lose here to the Giants, as you mentioned, Nick, that would just be catastrophic to them.
It'll be a backup quarterback with essentially a third string quarterback, right? Because Dart's your starter. Russ was supposed to be your backup. And now you go to Jameis Winston, your third string quarterback Your head coach has been fired. You have your backup running back in Devin Singletary or Tyrone Tracy. Neighbors is out. The defense is not getting enough pressure. I mean, the Giants are in a hell of a position right now. They're a 2-win team. And you're going to their home. I get that. There's value in being at home. The Giants, most notably, have blown 4 double-digit road leads this season. That it's not a must win because some people endorse the idea of must win exclusively when if you lose, your season's over.
Yeah.
But
the Doug Russells of the world. If Doug were here right now, he'd be telling us that's exactly the case.
I mean, next week becomes a blank storm if they don't win this game. I mean, we will be, every conversation is going to start with, are the Packers in a position to win for their coach to keep his job? This is very important. I don't want to overstate, but I think it's pretty damn important.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And, Matt LaFleur could be on that hot seat, but Matt LaFleur is going to be coming up on the other side. He's going to have his Thursday press conference. We'll hear from the Packers head coach coming up on the other side. This is DND here on The Game.
Break it down.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
DND will be back in just a moment. Brewers manager Pat Murphy was named the NL Manager of the Year again.
I've seen that before, and you're probably right.
He's the first manager in the National League to win the award in back-to-back seasons since 2005.
Arnold brings me these guys I've never heard of, and he swears that they're good. And you know what? He's right most of the time. These guys are hungry to play. They're aware of what it takes, and I'm just proud to be part of it.
Well done, Murph.
We call him Forrest Gump.
Congratulations from the whole team here at The Game. Have a pocket pancake on us.
They're wonderful. You want some?
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1978.
In June of 78, Darkness on the Edge of Town is released. Bruce Springsteen's follow-up to his breakthrough album, Born to Run. The album charts at number 5.
In the darkness on the edge of town. In the darkness on the edge of town.
Boston-based band The Cars released their debut album. It goes to number 18. It features the singles Just What I Needed and My Best Friend's Girl.
She's my best friend's girl. But she used to be mine.
In July of 78, the Rolling Stones released Some Girls in the U.S. The album and the single Miss You both hit number 1. In August of 78, Boston released their sophomore album, Don't Look Back. The album goes to number 1 in the U.S., selling 4 million copies in its first month.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1978. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1967.
Van Morrison, formerly of the band Them, has a number 10 hit as a solo artist with Brown Eyed Girl. In July, LA band The Grassroots scored their first top 10 hit with Let's Live for Today. And UK supergroup Cream, featuring guitarist Eric Clapton, toured the US for the first time.
In the sunshine of your love.
And in September, Janis Joplin's band Big Brother and the Holding Company signed with Columbia Records and released their debut album. October of 67, Memphis band The Box Tops, including 17-year-old gravel voice singer Alex Chilton, have a number 1 hit with The Letter.
Ticket for an aeroplane. Ain't got time to take a fast train. Lonely days are gone, I'm a going home. My baby used to put me together. My baby used to put me together.
And in November, the first issue of Rolling Stone magazine is published in San Francisco, featuring an interview with John Lennon. The Who have their first and only U.S. top 10 hit with I Can See for Miles. In December, they smashed their instruments on the Smothers Brothers TV show.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1967 coming up. iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Elton John to share his cycling adventure when purchasing the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band record.
I remember cycling to my nearest record store, which was about 4 miles away, to get Sgt. Pepper by the Beatles. And it had one of the first albums that had a gatefold sleeve. I mean, the album cover was, back in those days, it was outrageous. And they put it in a little bag, like a paper bag. And it's like I'm holding this album and I'm saying, I don't want this album to get messed up. So I just cycled very dangerously home with one hand. But those things you remember. And they are such a seminal point of one's life.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Elton John and all your favorite artists.
Welcome back to DND here on The Game. Dave Gasper along with Nick Bruzwitz, taking you through a thirsty Thursday here. And we are talking jerseys quite a bit here as we're awaiting the Packers head coach, Matt LaFleur. He is set to hit the podium any moment. And as soon as he does, we will take you there to him. And we've been talking jerseys here during the morning as Nick's been wearing his Brett Favre Jets jersey today for the show. And you guys have been texting in on the NicolayLaw.com talking text line 877-794-1973. You guys have been popping off with your jerseys, the amount that you have, your favorite jersey, the most random one that you have. And I see a couple of ones here from Mike and Merrill that he says he doesn't have them, but they're very funny jerseys. He's got a picture of a Packers jersey that says "Days Sober" with the number 0. Very funny one there. That's and great. Then a Scott Norwood with the name is kind of a little bit wide right. Name's a little bit wide right. That's tough. Shanna does not like that one a little bit. Right. But 877-794-1973. Unnamed in the 920 text in. I have 2 Sal Frelick jerseys. One Brewers Road navy blue with the euchre patch on the sleeve. Other one is a Timber Rattlers name, one with name and number for Sal. Got to know him when he came through Appleton, so I feel a personal connection to him that way. That's awesome. He's the best. He is. Sal's great. And when you have that personal connection to a player, that just makes the jerseys like that much more special.
No doubt. I mean, at one point, I always wanted an Antonio Brown jersey, and now in today's modern climate, maybe I'm grateful I didn't get it. It's like
you can get it on clearance.
Maybe not the best guy.
Maybe not.
Sal, it's a home run no matter what. I mean, Sal's pal, Sal, everything he does in the community, and he's been nominated for those community awards over and over again. It's like you're not going to lose by picking out a Sal jersey. So well done. As many of those as possible. I'm sure someone out there is like a super fan of somebody. We've already heard Rodgers. I have every one of them. Favre, every one of them except for Atlanta. I'm sure there's someone out there that has a player in particular that they have every uniform, every jersey for. I mean, Shaq would be a fun one. I did a presentation in 6th grade on him. I accumulated all the T-shirts and jerseys of the teams he was on. I wore them all on top of one another, peeling them off one at a time. He had 7 teams. So that's pretty significant.
You go with like an Edwin Jackson jersey, you'd have 14 different teams with Edwin Jackson that he played.
What if you were a Josh Johnson fan, the NFL quarterback who's been on 17 teams and
just continues to bounce around
the USFL and the XFL in different spots? I mean, you'd have a million jerseys.
Oh man, that'd be great. But yeah, I don't know if Josh Johnson would be the player that I'd want a jersey of that many times. But yeah, I mean. Just so many great ones out there. Love the random ones. Love hearing your favorite ones. Mike from Merrill has another idea here. A great one would be a Vikings throwback 70s jersey and the name championship and the number 0. Yeah,
that's great.
Love that. Love a good troll jersey.
Spend your money on trolling.
Yeah, I mean that's a good one because like you see him coming in, you're like, oh man, this guy's wearing a Vikings jersey. Mike, what are we doing? And then turn around and you see the 0 championships, like, okay, we'll take it. We'll accept that. Aaron from Fondy texting. He's got a game-issued Jordan Tutu jersey from the Nashville Predators. All right, we're getting some hockey jerseys in here now. Love
Those
that.
are pricey. I mean, baseball jerseys and hockey jerseys are a little bit more pricey.
Yeah. Well, hockey sweater.
That's
Very,
right.
very
Sure.
important.
Okay. Well, and they are very well detailed. They're large. There's more cloth involved. I think it's like $160 for a new jersey for an NHL jersey or sweater, and it's about $130 for an NFL. Baseball is more expensive in a lot of regards because of the buttons and the embroidery. NBA's, I think, typically the cheapest, but none of it's cheap anymore. So if you're buying a jersey to troll, I will give you credit because that means you really want to troll someone or something.
That's dedication. That's dedication to the craft there. Unnamed in the 262, Kevin King jersey is his most prized possession. I don't know if that should be your most prized possession, but I love the hustle there.
Yeah.
Getting a Kevin King.
Not great. But
TJ Watt jersey would have been better.
I have a TJ Watt jersey. Right. Yeah.
Why am I not surprised? Yeah. Was that one your favorite?
I would say TJ Watt 90, Aaron Rodgers 8 right now are my favorites, but Watt's a guarantee to be a Hall of Famer. So, yeah, probably the Watt one. That one's great. I mean, we got a couple of people texting in. JB and Milton, he's got jerseys of all the different sports, but his favorite is the 1980 blue Mark Johnson Olympic hockey jersey.
Oh, there we go. Now,
Hell
that's a great pull right there. That's a fantastic jersey. That is elite. That is an elite jersey right there. So that is incredible. Jason from Nebraska has a Stephen Marbury Georgia Tech jersey.
Nice.
All right, that's another great
Stephon
pull.
Marbury.
Yeah.
Eric in the Prairie, Tauscher jersey. Got a connection there. Lives in town. Coached his kid. And we love
Eric in
Mark's a good
Wautoma
dude.
also has a Tauscher jersey.
Yeah, a lot of Tauscher jerseys around these parts. I mean, he's a good dude. He's a Badger and a Packer. I think that's the double whammy. That's why Aberderis had the chance to be really special. And, Rodgers clearly loved him when they cut him. So it was not a good day then. It might have been the final straw that broke the camel's back with Mr. Aaron Rodgers. You cut my guy. Aberderis, it's over.
Yeah,
I'm looking elsewhere.
Maybe. Max from Green Bay says his most random would be a Terry Glenn Packers jersey and Gary Sheffield Brewers jersey. Oh, man.
All right. I said Gary Sheffield. I texted back to that. I said, man, that's ballsy. I mean, people hate that guy.
Yeah, they're not quite so much fans of Gary Sheffield around these parts. When you kind of intentionally make errors to try and get traded from the team, that tends to be the case. So keep them coming. 877-794-1973 is NicoletLaw.com talking text line. We want to hear about the jerseys you have, your favorite, your most random. And we're also going to hear from the Packers head coach, Matt LaFleur. He's a little late getting to the podium, but we'll hear from him on the other side of this break. Also, we're going to have a top of the hour update as well. So stay tuned. Stay with us. It's Nick Bruswitz over there, Dave Gasper over here. And we are DND here with you on the Game Radio Network.
You took me to the sky. I've never been so high. You were my fear.
You are listening to DND with Doug, Nick, and Dave.
This pains me to say this, but Dave's right.
Hey, why does that pain you to say? I'm right quite a bit, I think.
Middays here on the Game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1972.
Die. 1972, Don McLean goes to #1 with the single and album American Pie. Paul Simon's solo debut gives him a top 10 hit, Mother and Child Reunion. Fast forward to March, where Neil Young has a #1 album and a #1 single with Heart of Gold. And Deep Purple released their quintessential album Machine Head, which goes to #1 in the UK, #7 in the US, and features the classic hit Smoke on the Water.
Fire in the sky.
Paul Also in March, the band America releases their debut album. It goes to number 1 and yields a number 1 single with Horse with No Name.
See, I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert, you can't remember your name, 'cause there ain't no one for to give you no pain.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1972. Coming up. iHeartRadio.
Here are the top Aretha Franklin songs that you've thumbed up.
Number 3.
You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman.
Number 2.
Freeway of Love.
Number 1.
Respect. Hear more from Aretha Franklin and similar artists now.
Search for Aretha Franklin on iHeartRadio.
All your favorite music,
All your favorite stations.
all free.
Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1973.
Boston band Aerosmith released their debut album. It fares poorly. It would be re-released in 76 and yield a top 10 hit, Dream On.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog, right on down.
Elvis Presley's live TV special, Aloha from Hawaii, is watched by more than 1 billion people worldwide and introduces the world to the rhinestone white jumpsuit. In February of 73, Alice Cooper has a number 1 album with Billion Dollar Babies, along with 3 top 40 singles. Elton John also has a number 1 album and his first number 1 single with Crocodile Rock. Paul McCartney and Wings have a number 1 single with My Love, and the Stooges signed to Columbia Records and released their final album, Raw Power, produced by David Bowie. In March, Pink Floyd releases the now legendary Dark Side of the Moon. It goes to number 1 and becomes one of the best-selling albums of all time.
And everything under the sun is you, and the sun is a great spot of you.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1973. Coming up.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Peter Gabriel to reflect on the WOMAD Festival's evolution.
We initially started this WOMAD Festival in 1980. The first one was 82, and it was very naive enthusiasm for some of these strange and wonderful things we were hearing. And as a failed drummer, I was hearing grooves that I fell in love with, which seemed a lot more alive than what I was hearing on the radio. As a singer too, these wonderful voices, and it's still continued that way. And it's a lot more difficult, because the demise of the music business and record stores has made it extremely difficult for any minority interest label. But we work hard to focus online activities, and there is still, happy to say, a good audience, and the WOMAD Festival is, I think, like a lot of live parts of the business, actually flourishing, even though the records are not doing as well.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Peter Gabriel and all your favorite artists.
What you waiting for? Let's go. Make sure to make us a preset on the iHeartRadio app so you can listen to us anytime, anywhere. Wisconsin's home for sports and stuff. We are the game.
He's very knowledgeable, very intelligent guy, very personable guy.
Here's Dave Gasper.
Well, the Bucks lost last night, 111-100 to the Charlotte Hornets. They did not have Giannis in the lineup, which was perhaps a large reason why they ended up losing. And then the Bucks now are returning home, and they will play the Hornets again tomorrow night at Fiserv Forum.
Well, you got another crack at Con Knipple. This time, though, Con comes home. Con balled out last night. He didn't have his best game of the year, but at least in a loss, you got to watch a local kid perform well. He's living up to the standard there, which isn't particularly high. Maybe he'll take them to the next level. Charlotte's terrible, and at least now I have someone to root for on their team. But I won't be rooting for them in Milwaukee, of course.
No, of course not. There's no way can root for them for this game coming up. But yeah, the Bucks now 7-5 on the season, and not having Giannis, it's gonna hurt you. It's gonna hurt you. They need him and need him to be back out there. But another rest day here today. In Major League Baseball, the Cy Young Awards were announced last night. Tarek Skubal won in the American League with 26 first-place votes out of 30. Paul Skeens of the Pittsburgh Pirates was the unanimous winner in the National League. Freddie Peralta finished 5th in Cy Young voting. So
we know what they value, which in part has to be depth into games. And Freddie just doesn't pitch deep enough into games, doesn't provide enough in that regard. Comes as no surprise, Skeens wins, obvious, unanimous. Who got the other votes in the American League? Do you have that right in front
Garrett
of you?
Crochet got the other 4 first-place votes.
Crochet was great. I mean, he was exceptional. And he's one of those dudes who was a reliever 2 years ago. They stretched him out in Chicago with the White Sox last year, and that was a dispute. And then he pitched a huge amount of innings this year with the Red Sox. So cross my fingers for his health moving forward. You know that's hard to ramp up that much and sustain it. Skubal, incredible though.
Yeah, Skubal just absolute dominance. And we'll see if he ends up being on the move this offseason at some point. There's lots of rumors about that. And there have been rumors about Paul Skeens too, and how he wants to one day play for the New York Yankees because he has no belief in the Pittsburgh Pirates, which is understandable. I can get why he doesn't have any belief, but also Paul Skeens refuting the reports that he wants out of Pittsburgh and wants to be in New York, because of course he's going to. He has to say that.
He does.
Like what do you expect him to say?
I would think that Paul Skeens with the New York media would be quite the pairing, because he gives you nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
I mean, he'd have to maintain his level of play. I don't know if it's even possible how good he has been to start his career, but you know, if he takes a step back in New York and then he doesn't talk, I mean, he's not a talker. It would be a really interesting scenario to see play out.
I mean, when we see him on these award shows announcements, like last year, he's sitting there finding out about Rookie of the Year. He's sitting there. Livy Dunn is just like all super excited and clapping.
Yeah,
and Paul's
hugging
just
on
like,
him.
Cool. And
This
then
year he did a
yesterday,
little something.
yesterday, I don't know if you saw it, but when he got announced as the Cy Young winner, you know, he just he had a little bit of a bigger smile. Then he kind of mustered a fake, fist pump. But it's like, that's not your natural reaction. You're doing the fist pump because you think you're supposed to do a fist pump.
That's right. He hugged Livy, and I think he probably hugged his mom, the woman to his other side, and then it was, you know, he did the little fist bumps. It was more than last year for sure. I wonder, you know, the most animated I've ever seen him, the most, you know, energetic I've ever seen him was during their Halloween posts this year, where he was Borat, and he was just fired up to be Borat. So maybe let him dress up as Borat when he wins an award next time.
A guy.
We'll see. Very nice.
Yeah, Livy Dunn is your girlfriend, and for Halloween you're dressing up as Borat. Okay.
She was Pamela Anderson, I guess.
That tracks. That makes sense.
Yeah, worked out.
I believe that. Yeah, Pamela Anderson and Borat. That's a combination.
That's right.
The MVP awards will be announced tonight for Major League Baseball. In the National League, it is widely expected that Shohei Ohtani will win again. And in the American League, it's going to be between Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh. But in all likelihood, Aaron Judge is going to end up being the winner there.
As he should.
Yeah, as he should be. As much as I love Cal Raleigh and what he did this year, how impressive it was, you just look at Judge's numbers. There's no way you can't put Judge in as the MVP. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you got to. You have to. And the Big Dumper had an exceptional season. I think that it resets the standards. It may be untouched because catchers do not do that. It could be untouched for multiple decades. So there is something to be said about that, what he did this year and how valuable he was. But I think Judge wins it. Ohtani will win it. And it's just, rinse and repeat right now. Back-to-back manager of the year in both leagues, back-to-back MVPs in both leagues, Tarek Skubal, back-to-back Cy Youngs. Did Skeens win the National League last year? I don't think so.
He won Rookie of the Year. I don't think he won Cy Young.
But Cy Young was not him. So at least there's someone new in that regard.
Yeah. I mean, it's we'll see what kind of changes there are. But yeah, it's just dominant.
Sale won 24.
Sale, yeah. Chris Sale had a fantastic season. And then missed most of this year with injury, I believe. But
that is right. He pitched against the Brewers and then he got hurt.
Yep.
He was a lead against the Brewers.
That's tough. In college football, the college football playoff chairman, Mack Rhoades, who's also the athletic director at Baylor, is stepping away from both roles for personal reasons. As it says, according to the CFP executive director, they're going to try and replace him and work on naming a new chair. Rhoades initiated the leave from his Baylor role, but declined to explain why. Baylor told ESPN's Adam Rittenberg that the university received allegations involving Rhoades on Monday. The allegations do not involve Title IX, student welfare, or NCAA rules, and do not involve the football program, indicating it is a separate incident from Rhoades' alleged altercation with a football player during a September game. So don't entirely know what's going on with the chairman of the College Football Playoff Committee, but they have a spot open now, and the 12-person group, actually, they got 2 spots open now. They were already 1 member short after Randall McDaniel stepped away. So, you got 10 guys now on the College Football Playoff Committee. They're going to try and find someone new to fit in, but a little bit of controversy down there in Baylor.
Yeah, been a lot of controversy over the last 24 hours in college sports. Michigan State running into some trouble. Credit to our guy Jim Leonard gets another win after that was vacated yesterday by the Spartans. College football, college sports, and it's all just a cluster right now.
Does he get a win for that, or does it just go as a tie?
No, I mean it's vacated. I think I think in reality, I think that the loss counts for Wisconsin, and the win just doesn't count anymore for Michigan State. I just think it's the Badgers still lost the game, I believe, or maybe it just never happened. See, that's just vacated wins to me. Foolish. Because what does it matter?
Vacating wins is the dumbest thing to ever happen. It's like we all know who won the game. Like whatever things you want to claim now, they already played the game. The game is done. Like you can't pretend that it didn't happen or pretend that the outcome was different. Unless you want to go back and replay it or whatever else, you can't just vacate the win. Like that makes no sense. But the NCAA has not made a ton of sense for quite a while.
Absolutely. I agree. I mean, challenges face them and they tend to make more as a result instead of actually addressing them. So, good to get that. Good to get that addressed. Sorry, sucks to be Baylor. I guess you lose your player or your dude.
Your athletic director. Yeah. So
that's right.
Yeah, we'll see what ends up happening there. They got their deputy athletic directors stepping in right now to kind of help out. But that could throw the College Football Playoff Committee into chaos as they try. I mean, we're in week 2 now, heading into week 3 of the College Football Playoff rankings. So it's bad time to have guys leaving the board there.
No doubt. I mean. And the Badgers aren't part of the conversation, so I really don't care. Okay, college football playoff, who cares about that? Not me. Wisconsin's got their college football playoff game this weekend. They're traveling to Bloomington. They're taking on the undefeated and second-ranked Indiana Hoosiers. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that Hoosier football would be a topic of conversation at a national level in any regard outside of how bad are they? And now it's how good are they?
Yeah, it's an incredible turnaround that they've had. They're for sure a playoff team. But, when it comes to the Green Bay Packers, Nick, we're not necessarily for sure yet if they're a playoff team. They're kind of on the fringe of it right now, still in that 7 seed, but they got to get some wins and get to playing better here if they're going to get into it.
Absolutely. And it starts with the head coach. I think in most people's minds at this moment, they look at LaFleur and they say he's got to come up with the answers. The problems are on offense. That's his domain. He's the play caller, and he's the one that's dropping the ball right now. So we'll see if he can get back on track this weekend against the Giants.
Yeah, we will. And Matt LaFleur is meeting with the media right now. Kind of started just a few minutes ago as we were wrapping up the last segment. So without any further wait, let's hear from the Packers head coach, Matt LaFleur.
Matt LaFleur at the podium, his Thursday presser running a little bit longer than he typically would. I think that's a product of them losing some games. I do think that when they're winning and things are humming along, there aren't as many questions. But whether it's injuries that people think could impact them in the positive moving forward, LVN back in practice today, Lucas Van Ness hasn't been playing. He got hurt on a sack earlier this season, which is the most unfortunate way to see him go down, knowing people's frustrations with his production. Matthew Golden, you heard there at the end, was close last week. You have to imagine he'd be ready to go this week. But I thought Bill Huber's added questions about the 4th and 1 situation were the most interesting, and we'll dig into those on the other side because I know this segment's gone a little long so far here. No one would have anticipated. Dave, would you anticipate that LaFleur would have gone that long on a Thursday?
No, not at all. I'm like, oh man, he's still going here. But yeah,
I think the line is like 4 minutes usually that Doug tries to set or you set.
Usually, yeah. I mean, even like, especially on Friday pressers, but even Thursday pressers, I mean, you're going maybe max 5-6 minutes. I mean, it's not a ton, but yeah, you got kind of a bunch of other like questions in there about, like, why do you decide some guys are up in the box and some coaches are on the sidelines? Like things like that. They're just kind of different type of questions that just kind of
doesn't know much about Kafka. We know that now. Wes
doesn't know much about him. Yeah.
Kafka on the other side.
He's done well for himself. Yeah. I mean, he just got promoted to interim head coach. So I guess he has done well for himself. But yeah, that's code for I don't know anything about him.
Interviewed him, I guess, when he was a draft prospect. So there's that. But
it was a long time ago.
Bill Huber, SI.com, he asked some questions about the 4th and 1 decision-making. I thought the answers were potentially enlightening, and we'll dig into that on the other side because I think that was the make-or-break moment that the Packers failed in on Monday night against the Eagles. Stay tuned. You got DND on the game.
I'm Bridget Condon with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Giants interim head coach Mike Kafka announced that quarterback Jameis Winston will get the start on Sunday against the Packers. This will be Winston's first start since joining the Giants earlier this year. Jackson Dart remains in concussion protocol after suffering the injury last week. Elsewhere, Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson was not at practice on Wednesday. Head coach John Harbaugh said Jackson is dealing with knee soreness, but that he is expected to be okay. The Jets have ruled out wide receiver Garrett Wilson for Thursday night's matchup with the Patriots. Wilson has been dealing with a knee injury he suffered last week against the Browns. And the Cardinals will also be without their receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. Head coach Jonathan Gannon revealed that Harrison had an appendectomy earlier this week and will miss Sunday's game against the 49ers. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
While retinitis pigmentosa takes Mark's vision, his family gives him hope, whether at the family business or at home with his wife and sons. He knows he's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, providing hope to people with vision loss. And for Mark, winning the fight means being there for his family. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
The NL Manager of the Year for 2025 is Brewers skipper Pat Murphy, leading the team to an MLB best 97 wins, another division title, and an NLCS appearance.
So what advice would you give a first-time manager about striking that balance between communication, gaining trust, and accountability?
I think you got to be authentic and you got to be in it for the right reasons. And it's got to be part of your authentic self. You've got to mean it. You got to live it. And then they'll trust you.
And of course, many pocket pancakes enjoyed along the way.
I got a little pocket pancake right here. They're wonderful. You want some?
From all of us at the game, congratulations, Murph.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1974.
All the band on the run. Band on the run.
In January of 1974, the top-selling album of the year is released. Paul McCartney and Wings, Band on the Run. Bob Dylan, backed by the band, has his first #1 album with Planet Waves. In February, Jersey City's Kool and the Gang have a top 5 hit with Jungle Boogie. New York City's Kiss released their debut, which sells 75,000 copies without a hit single.
Everybody says she's looking good. And the lady knows it's understood.
In March of 74, Canadian band Rush released their debut album, Get a New Drummer, and go on their first U.S. tour. David Essex has the first of many top 10 hits in the UK and his only U.S. hit with the single Rock On, which goes to number 5. And Steely Dan hit the top 5 with the single Ricky Don't Lose That Number and have a top 10 album too with Pretzel Logic.
Ricky, don't lose that number. It's the only one you want. You might use it if you feel better. When you get home.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1974. Coming up. iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Elton John to talk about performing live.
Going on stage was when I could show off and be comfortable. And I was always a bit timid off stage. And the stage gave me an outlet. And you'll find that with many performers, whether they be dancers, actors, singers, musicians. They have the outlet on stage to become the person they're not off stage. And I think that's what eventually led to my troubles, along with the drugs and the drink, is that the person who was fast becoming popular as Elton John and becoming, the #1 rock star in the world, had kind of escaped from the person off stage, and the balance was completely off kilter. And the more I became successful, the harder I worked, and the less time I concentrated on being normal or trying to be kind of normal. But people who knew me privately were shocked, I think, at what I was doing off stage. Rather, they knew what I was going to do on stage, but off stage they were shocked and disappointed.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Elton John and all your favorite artists.
Back here on the game, you've got DND, Dave Gasper, and me, Nick Bruzewitz. We just heard Packers head coach Matt LaFleur at the podium, his second presser of the week. He'll have one more tomorrow as they get set to face the Giants on the road Sunday at noon. But we're still looking back at their Monday night loss to the Eagles, 10-7 at Lambeau. It was, unless you're a defensive guy, not the most entertaining football game. And it felt like in the biggest moments, the Packers did not step up, most notably on their second to last possession of the game. They had a 4th-and-1 zone run that was called out by the defense, highlighted, literally, hey, this is what they're doing. This is where they're going. And it failed. And head coach Matt LaFleur was asked about it again today by Bill Huber, who kind of stuck his chest out, and I appreciate that, kind of going back and forth a little bit. And I thought the comments made by LaFleur were eye-opening because when asked about it, hey, what do you do when they say they know what you're doing? We have to come off the ball better. So when they know what you're doing, the answer is to just still do the same play and just be better at it.
Just power through it.
And, he mentions that they're constantly tinkering with their code words to try and disguise things. But yeah, he kind of brushed it off. Like he said, this happens regularly. The opponent knows what you're doing regularly. And I'm like, I don't know about that. Like, I get that they might have a general understanding of what they think tendency-wise you're going to try and do.
It sounds like a problem if they know what you're doing regularly.
And hey, credit to him. They've won a lot of football games where the opponent knows exactly what he's doing, I guess. But I think that, he tries to keep things close to the vest, close to the chest. Sometimes he wears a vest, but close to the chest.
No, that's Luke Fickell. You're thinking the wrong football coach.
And Coach Vick's wearing that vest, even when he wears a hoodie.
Yeah.
But he coach speak. He tried to coach speak And Bill's an experienced reporter. He knows what he's doing. I mean, he's asking the questions that people want to know. And I don't think he got anything that makes the situation look better. Like when LaFleur says it happens all the time, I don't think that makes this look better.
Yeah, I mean, there's part of it. I mean, the offense and defense both kind of, try and like figure those things out. I mean, they do their film work too. They do their prep work, their homework. We saw numerous times throughout, especially like Aaron Rodgers' career, he would point out like, you're not coming on the blitz. Get back there. Like this guy's showing blitz. You're not coming. Get back there. Or this guy's coming on the blitz. He's even though he's trying to hide, he's like, no, I'm not going. But sure enough, he was. And it's a little bit of those mind games type of things, right? Like it's the game within the game. Do you call out like knowing like, hey, I know exactly what you're doing because that messes with their head, thinking, oh no, but they know what it is. Is it a decoy? Have you properly fooled them? Who knows? Sometimes they get it right. Sometimes they don't. But I mean, the Eagles, they're Super Bowl champions for a reason. I mean, they do their homework on the offenses they face. The Packers, I'm sure that there are moments where they know exactly what the Eagles are going to do, either defensively or offensively. So I kind of see where LaFleur is coming from in the sense that, I mean, look, in a league like this, I mean, you have the smartest football minds. You have the smartest football players out there, and they're going to be able to pick up on those kinds of things. Similar to how, hitters in baseball can pick up on tipping pitches, even when it's the most minor thing, like tipping pitches or, runners picking up on timing when a pitcher's about to go. There are guys who can just pick up the smallest detail and know exactly what's going to happen because of it. So I think that might just be part of it here. I mean, just with the NFL, the skill level that you have, there's just smart guys, all across the league that are able to figure some of those things out.
And I wholeheartedly agree with that sentiment. It just felt like, how often does the opponent know the exact play that you're running? I get that they may look at the formation, they recognize the personnel, they know on tape when those guys are on the field in that formation, what they're going to do potentially. But to know this is the gap that I have to rush to tackle the runner, he's going to be right there. And to beat it and do that, it just feels like maybe there could have been a little bit more of a reflection on, we need to do better in situations like that, to check to something else or have a second option that may be similar, that isn't a great adjustment, but enough that it would change things to the degree that our runner's not being blown up. And he said you got to get off the ball better. And if they had blocked better in that moment, if it was Josh Jacobs, a defender, and fighting for 1 yard, I would agree. I'd put my money on Jacobs.
You know what also helps with that? Not trying to run out of the shotgun.
That's
on
right.
4th and 1. Maybe if you were under center, maybe if you're a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage, maybe that would have helped things. Just a thought, just an idea. It's not even so much that they know what's coming, because there's a lot of plays where you know what's coming and you still aren't able to stop it, but you got to be able to set it up right. When they know what's coming when it's 4th and 1 from the shotgun, that's a whole lot different than when you just have basically everyone in there on the line of scrimmage and power I formation. And you just run power up the middle. Billy's favorite play. I mean, the most erotic play in football, as Billy calls it. And if you just run power like that, everyone knows what's coming. You got basically 3 tight ends on the line. You got the running back right behind them, quarterback under center. Everyone knows it's going to be a power run, but it still can be successful, even if they know it's coming. So, you put yourself in better spots depending on that formation. But when you're running from the shotgun on 4th and 1, you're not even giving yourself a legitimate chance at this when they know what's coming.
Exactly. And they didn't have a chance. And the Eagles are a very impressive defense. Kavika Maui texts in. That's why they signed Jair. I doubt that Jair still understands. I'm sure they've changed up the wording. It's not like, hey, last year we used these words for this play, I'm going to use it again.
Jair wasn't even there. Jair didn't even travel to Green Bay. I mean, he was left behind in Philadelphia.
And now he's retired. And, it didn't I don't think that had an impact, but it's an interesting premise to think about. Earlier when they played the Bengals this season, there were questions about Sean Clifford. Hey, how can Clifford maybe expose the Packers, what they do, how they do it? And LaFleur said he's a smart guy, but he doesn't know our game plan this week. I mean, it was so there's levels to it. I think that LaFleur recognizes that moment was a very significant moment for him as a head coach, this team in their individual season. And they need to be better because that is a shock when you need 1 yard and the opponent knows the play. You know what the Packers know is coming? The tush push. Can't stop that when the Eagles are on the other side. So develop your tush push. Well, do a quarterback sneak.
It also is hard to stop the tush push when both guards false start.
That's right.
And it doesn't get called. I mean, when the left guard and right guard can leave as early as they did, it was so obvious to anyone watching that they jumped early and they don't call it. There's no way to stop it because you got to wait. And those guys have already got the advantage on you at that point, and there's no way to be able to win because it does not get called correctly. This is another reason why the Packers wanted to ban the tush push because that play is just utterly ridiculous. There's no way to properly officiate it the way that the officials have. And just further exemplified it. And everyone's looking at it like, oh, see what the Eagles did? They ran the tush push on the Packers to get back at them. They wanted to ban it. Ha, 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 ha. That exact play showed why. Because they false started. Both guards. It's not just one player. Both guards false started on that play. No wonder they couldn't stop it.
Yeah, there was a false start on the Packers too that went uncalled, but I agree with you. I mean, it's not like a one-off for the Eagles. It's more often than not, it seems, with that play that they go to that there's a false start, if not multiple. So the Eagles won the game. Credit where credit's due. They did not play particularly well on offense as they expect to, but they won the game. So I guess outside of A.J. Brown, no one's complaining, right?
Right.
Talking about winning games was a long time between wins for the Wisconsin Badgers football team. They went from September 6th until this past Saturday, November 8th, without a victory. Won by 3, 13-10 in a snowy, nasty Wisconsin weather game. Nathaniel Vakos, 2 field goals in the game, and we'll play back my conversation with him here on the other side. You're listening to DND on the Game.
How do I get myself back to the place where you said I want something else to get me through that?
Want to watch DND? They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
There you go.
There we go.
Just search 97.3 The Game. Don't miss DND middays here on The Game.
The issue is, why aren't you kicking the field goal there? I know it's a 57-yarder, but your offense hasn't done squat all night long. Do you trust your kicker or not? And if you don't trust him, you have a second one on your roster. No other team in the NFL has 2 kickers on their roster. Haversick wasn't active, so he couldn't trot him out there. He's still on the 53. If you don't trust Brandon McManus to hit a 57-yard field goal, he shouldn't be there.
Yeah, I think the weather conditions paired with the injury recovery.
Your offense hasn't done anything. If Brandon McManus can't hit a 57-yard field goal, or you don't think that he can hit a 57-yard field goal, you've got someone on your roster who just hit a 61-yarder a couple of weeks ago.
If the injury is enough where it's like, hey, he can go, but his distance is a little bit more limited because of it, maybe you keep him on IR. Maybe you keep him inactive until he can get that distance back because McManus has a career long of 61.
DND with Doug, Nick, and Dave. Middays here on The Game.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Journey songs that you thumbed up.
Number 3.
Separate Ways, Worlds Apart.
Someday love will find you. Break those chains that bind you. One night will remind you. Oh, we touched our separate ways.
Number 2.
Any Way You Want It.
Baby, who changed? She said, any way you want it, that's the way you need it. Any way you want it. Oh, I said, any way you want it, that's the way you need it. Any way you want it.
number one.
Don't stop believing.
Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. Street light people.
Hear more from Journey and similar artists now.
Search for Journey on iHeartRadio.
All your favorite music,
All your favorite stations.
all free.
Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1974.
In April, Diamond Dogs is a number one album in the UK for David Bowie. It goes to number 5 in the US.
Rebel, rebel, you torn your dress. Rebel, rebel, your face is a mess. Rebel, rebel, how could they know? Hot tramp, I love you so.
In June of 1974, Chicago funk band Rufus, featuring lead singer Shaka Khan, score a number 3 hit with Tell Me Something Good. UK supergroup Bad Company have a number 1 album and a top 5 single, Can't Get Enough.
Can't get enough, enough of your love. I can't get enough, enough of your love. I can't get enough of your love. Yeah, this one, this one.
And Dutch hard rock band Golden Earring have a number 13 hit with the single Radar Love.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1974. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1970.
Don't keep me waiting here. Lead me to
The Beatles released the Phil Spector produced album Let It Be. It generates 3 number 1 hits, Get Back, Let It Be, and their final number 1, The Long and Winding Road. The Kinks song Lola, about a romantic encounter with a transvestite, makes number 2 UK and number 9 US. In July, the Stooges released their second album on Elektra Records, Fun House. And British band Mungo Jerry are number 1 in the UK, number 3 in the US with the single In the Summertime.
have a drink, have a drive. Go out and see what you can find.
In August, Eric Clapton releases his first solo album and scores a top 20 hit with his cover of J.J. Cale's After Midnight. Neil Diamond scores his first number 1 with Cracklin' Rosie. September of 1970, Neil Young has a top 10 album with After the Gold Rush. War, an anti-war protest song by Edwin Starr, tops the charts.
What is it good for? You tell me. Say it.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1970. Coming up.
You got to kick a little, it causes a stir. Sometimes you gotta make some noise to be heard. If anybody ever tries to hold
I like it. Back here on D&D. You're listening to the game. Dave Gasper, Nick Brusewitz, as we get you through your Thursday, get you set for Thursday Night Football. The whole reason I wore the Brett Favre jersey was because the Jets are playing tonight, and I'd like the Jets to upset the Patriots. I root for chaos, so I'm cool with that. But yeah, that sparked a great conversation. A lot of people texting in their jerseys. You got the theme here, though. I understand it. The kicking aspect of the song there is in reference to our guy Nathaniel Vakos, and he made 2 kicks. He missed his first one. He missed his first field goal, and it had been a long time since he attempted one. I think he had gone a month without an attempt since playing Michigan, and then he made his last 2, and the Badgers prevailed 13-10 over Washington this past Saturday at Camp Randall. And I caught up with Nathaniel earlier this week with an opportunity to maybe give him some of the spotlight, because it was a big performance for him.
Went a long time without really being thrust into action in terms of field goals, that is. You get 3 cracks at it. Mm-hmm. First one goes awry. Yeah. How do you respond to that, knowing that maybe you may not get another opportunity later in the game?
I think it just goes back to trusting your techniques and habits and the guys with me. I remember running off that field and being kind of upset. You know, it's our first field goal in probably a month or so, right. 4 weeks since Michigan. So it's an opportunity I really wanted to take advantage of and hit it well, just push it a little bit. And going off the field, Nick and Addy and Sean, all the guys coming up to me knowing we're going to get another attempt. We're going to get another attempt. Just kind of keeping my head clear and knowing we did get another 2 attempts that game and being able to go out there and capitalize those. Feel good in a moment where you know you're not getting a lot of field goals. You're at the bottom in all of college football for that. So every opportunity counts at that point. So it was nice to be able to at least see 2 go in.
And those 2 field goals, ultimately, they're the game tire and the game winner in terms of, how it ultimately were to work out points-wise. Your final kick ends up being the game winner.
Mm-hmm.
In that moment, do you recognize the value of that kick?
I don't see it as a game winner in that sense, but you see it as a chance to take a lead. And going into the 4th quarter, I think it was late in the 3rd. So being able to go out there, and especially those conditions, snowy and wet and rainy, sleet, going out there and capitalizing on that opportunity to put us up 3 gives the guys a good boost of momentum. And you don't see it then, but you look back now and it's like that was a deciding factor in the game. So
we talk a lot about the conditions for the quarterbacks and how hard it is to maybe throw the ball. But for a kicker, I have to imagine it's probably equally as challenging with your footing, with vision. How did you maybe have to adjust your ability that night?
I think the hardest part is definitely for our snapper and our holder, especially. They're the ones actually grabbing the ball and the ball spinning as they're catching in. Him being able to put in the right spot where I'm expecting the ball to be and tilt it the right way. And then obviously the wind and stuff plays a factor for me, but more of it's on them being able to do their job to the best ability so I can do my job. Because if he can get the ball down at the right time and not bobble a snap and get it tilted the right way and put it in, then it's on me to make the kick. And a waterlogged ball does travel a little bit less, but wind-wise, that's on me to play, and I just got to be able to adjust.
Do you guys have K balls like they do at the pro level where there's kicker-specific balls?
We do, but you don't really get to use them in games. They'll try and get like a kicker ball just in the mix, and like hopefully we can get it out there. Usually you're able to get it out on a kickoff, but field goals, it's really nothing. You got to use the quarterback balls, and if we could use kicker balls, it'd make a huge difference, honestly. I mean, you see in the NFL guys, I think they just put out a story last week on Evan McPherson missed that 54-yard field goal short because they used a QB ball instead of a
it's happened a couple times.
So it does play an effect, but it's a ball's a ball, and you got to go out there and make the kick regardless.
Not necessarily kicker specific, but it felt like the kicking game, whether that's punting or kicking, was kind of highlighted on Saturday. Sean with a couple of big plays. Bertram's comes in late in the game with some clutch. Do you feel like your room might have won the day?
I feel like we just take everything for what we can do. We go out there a couple times a game, and Coach Fick says all this time, special teams is crucial and changes games. A block punt like that, that flips a game. When you look at the stats, we looked at all year, it's like an 80% win. But when you go out there and do your jobs as specialists, it really changes the tides of games. You got somebody that can flip the field. You got somebody that can pin it on the 5. You go out there, you can make a field goal to then kick off the ball. So they start at the 25, regardless of where the ball was on the field goal. So it does make a big factor, especially in low-scoring games like that. Being able for us to capitalize on those really changes the game.
We'll end here. You mentioned Coach Fickell, certainly a topic of conversation on the outside for weeks, and you guys get the reassurances that he's going to be your coach, certainly this year, but he'll be around next year as well. How does that change things for you guys? And when you get that win, how much do you kind of feel for your coach?
Yeah, that's a huge win for our program, and obviously we're all behind him, and he's always had the best belief in us to go out there and do our jobs, and he's just been preaching to us, a lot of us guys, especially me. It's our last month of football, and you guys still have a lot to prove regardless of the score on the games. You guys have opportunities in the future to go play if you really put the effort in, and being able to come out there and win a game, a ranked game, especially after an announcement like that on the media, really brought a lot of hope to us that we needed to going into this week against Indiana. So I think it was huge for us.
I guess I'll end with this. Yesterday, he mentioned that maybe that you guys need to fire the punting coach.
Yeah.
And he says, that's me.
Yeah.
So, he's kind of a funnier guy than I think he gets credit for.
No, he loves punt. It's his favorite play in football. And, we're all in those meetings every day. So I know he has a lot on his mind. He's always changing up the punt scheme, and he's trying to do the best he can. And, he knows what he's doing. We've had good punt teams before. A couple block punts. He'll figure it out. He's a brilliant guy. So we support him. I know our punters. We all have our opinions. Everybody does, just because we've been doing it for so long. But he knows what to do. He listens to us as well. He takes our advice, which is awesome as a head coach to be able to listen to us punters and kickers and see what's best for us and what he wants to do to help us implement what will help us reach our goals, especially hitting the best balls for this team. So, yeah.
My conversation with Badgers kicker Nathaniel Vakos, once again, 2 for 3 in their victory over Washington. Those kicks proved to be, ultimately the difference. They if they miss them all, they lose 10-7. And so credit to him in that weather. He's now 5 of 8 on field goals this season, which that means he came into that contest having attempted 5 total field goals through 8 games.
Yeah,
that's not a good mark.
Not a lot. No, they haven't gotten into field goal range quite a bit for him to be of much use throughout the season. But yeah, I mean, he hit the kicks when they mattered, and that's the important part. You hit enough to get the win, and how crucial it was to get that win for this program in desperate need of it. Hadn't had a win in 2 months. So for Vakos, that's got to be tough on a kicker when, it's all about mental, right? It's all about between the ears. And when you go, so long between opportunities, only 5 field goal opportunities all season leading up to that. It's got to be hard to stay sharp. So you got to give credit to the kid for being able to stay sharp enough there to help the Badgers eke out the win on Saturday.
Absolutely. And as I've mentioned, weather included. If you're going to have your most significant game of the year in terms of reps and usage, for it to come in a cold, wet, snowy, nasty game and be able to put it in the uprights. I'm a big fan of Nathaniel Vakos. Good dude, good player. And I'm hoping for the best moving forward. Maybe the Badgers win again this weekend. Hopefully he's used. That would mean that means that they're at least in the contest. But coming up next, we'll dive into hour number 3 here on DND. So stay tuned. You got Nick Brusewitz and Dave Gasper on the game.
Gotta make some noise to be heard. You are listening to DND with Doug, Nick, and Dave.
This pains me to say this, but Dave's right.
Hey, why does that pain you to say? I'm right quite a bit, I think.
Middays here on the game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1969.
In January of 69, Creedence Clearwater Revival has a number 2 hit with Proud Mary. The Beatles perform live for the last time on the rooftop of Apple Records in London. And after touring as the New Yardbirds in September of 68, Jimmy Page renames the band Led Zeppelin and releases their debut, which goes top 10 in both the US and UK.
Oh, good times, bad times, I've had my share. When my woman left home for a proud man, but I still don't see it again.
In February of 69, Detroit rockers MC5 released their debut album Kick Out the Jams on Elektra Records. Tommy James and the Shondells have a number 1 hit with the psychedelic-influenced Crimson and Clover. And San Francisco's Sly and the Family Stone go to number 1 with the single Everyday People.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1969. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1968.
Born to be wild.
In January of 1968, Steppenwolf released their debut album, including the single Born to be Wild, which charts at number 2 in the U.S. Johnny Cash records 2 live shows at California's Folsom Prison, along with June Carter and Carl Perkins. Also in January, the Beatles are number 1 with Hello Goodbye. In London, they launched their own company, Applecore, with a store, a recording studio, and record label. February of 68, Pink Floyd lead singer Syd Barrett is checked into a psychiatric hospital and the band replaces him with David Gilmour. The Beatles, Donovan, Mia Farrow, and others travel to India to study transcendental meditation with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. And Bill Graham opens the Fillmore East concert venue in an abandoned New York City theater. April of 1968, the musical Hair opens on Broadway for the first of 1,750 performances. It would spawn several top 40 hits, including Aquarius, Good Morning Starshine, and Hair. Simon & Garfunkel released their album Bookends, which goes to number 1 in the US and the UK. The single Mrs. Robinson would go to number 1 in June, thanks to the movie The Graduate.
God bless you, please, Mrs. Robinson. Heaven holds a place for those who pray. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more. From 1968, coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1973.
Led Zeppelin released their fifth album, Houses of the Holy. It goes to number 1 in the US and the UK and yields the top 20 hit Dire Maker.
But I still love you so, but I can't let you go. I love you.
The Doobie Brothers released their top 10 album, The Captain and Me, with the singles Long Train Running and China Grove. And in June, Joe Walsh and Barnstorm have a top 10 album buoyed by the single Rocky Mountain Way. Also in June of 73, George Harrison scores a number 1 single, Give Me Love, from the number 1 album, Living in the Material World. And Chicago's 6th album goes to number 1 with 2 top 10 hits, Just You and Me and Feeling Stronger Every Day. In July, 600,000 Jam Watkins Glen for Summer Jam, the largest rock festival ever held in the U.S. It features the band, the Grateful Dead, and the Allman Brothers. And in August, those same Allman Brothers released their first album after the death of Duane Allman and had their only hit single with Ramblin' Man, which goes to number 2.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more. From 1973, coming up.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Bryan Adams to talk about working with the legendary Jeff Lynne.
I think that one of the great things about Jeff Lynne, he's sort of able to become a member of the band, no matter what band he works with. So you listen to any of his projects, his signature is all over it. It was serendipitous that we actually met up, and he asked me if I didn't want to cut a track sometime. I said, yeah. As soon as I got the track back, I was like, when are we doing the next one? Even Jeff was surprised when he got the track. I was like, wow, we got tons of other songs. And so I would send a demo that Jim and I would have written and then send him the files. And then Jeff would use whatever he wanted to and replace whatever he wanted to and send back a master.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Bryan Adams and all your favorite artists.
Your attention, please. We are the gang and the home of DND with Doug, Nick, and Dave. Weekdays from 10 to 2, live 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app. Watch the show on YouTube, Facebook, and X by searching 97.3 The Gang.
He's very knowledgeable, very intelligent guy, very personable guy.
Here's Dave Gasper.
Milwaukee Bucks lost last night, 111-100 to the Charlotte Hornets. They did not have Giannis Antetokounmpo, which dramatically impacted their offense. Bucks returning home to take on the Hornets once again tomorrow night, but back at Fiserv Forum. So perhaps a little home cooking will help this team get back on track, and they're now 7-5 on the regular season.
Yeah, I think last night you saw why Zach Lowe's trade hypothetical of trading out Miles Turner, Kyle Kuzma, and a first rounder for Anthony Davis maybe wouldn't be the best idea, because you saw 21 points for Miles Turner, a decent performance from him, 7 for 14 from the field. From a big man, you typically want a little bit better in terms of percentage of shots being made, but 3 of 8 from deep for a 7-footer. Can't really be upset with that. And Ryan Rollins, his season so far, it's pretty impressive, man. I think that he's starting to sleepwalk. No, that's not his way. I'm trying to think of how I can phrase this. He's the opposite of sleepwalking. He's seeping into people's common consciousness about the Bucks.
Yeah.
Creeping
his way
into
the starting role, bigger role.
Right.
The Bucks fan consciousness. Yeah.
17 points a game this year, 5.7 assists. He's doing really well. And Kevin Porter Jr. will come back at some point. Giannis didn't play. They should beat Charlotte regardless, but I mean, you're going to lose games, and it happens. They shouldn't lose with Giannis on the floor. So anytime Giannis is out there, if they lose, that's disappointing.
No.
Last night, it's certainly not ideal, but you'll roll with it.
But it's hard to read too much into it when they lose, when Giannis is not out there on the floor. In Major League Baseball, Cy Young Awards last night, Paul Skeens was unanimous in the National League. Freddie Peralta ended up finishing 5th. Tarek Skubal for the Detroit Tigers won in the American League with 26 first-place votes. MVP awards are tonight. If it's anyone but Ohtani in the National League, it is going to be the largest surprise we have ever seen. And in the American League, Aaron Judge is likely to win, but Cal Raleigh also has himself a bit of a case as well as MLB award season continues. Also in Major League Baseball news, the San Diego Padres could be up for sale. So if you've got $1 billion, $2 billion, you could buy the San Diego Padres. The Seidler family has announced that they are considering selling the team. The patriarch of that family, Peter Seidler, passed away in 2023. So now it's kind of fallen to the rest of the fam, and there's a little bit of arguments, a little bit of a split amongst the family about what to do with the Padres and who's going to run control of it. And now it's looking like they might just sell the team.
Yeah, and that's all right. I think that the Padres are one of those teams that it feels like are close, can be run well enough to win. And that doesn't often happen when teams are selling. You look at the other teams that often go up for sale, and it's, okay, well, who's going to inherit this dumpster fire? Who wants to just own a baseball team for the novelty of owning a baseball team?
Yeah.
Whoever ends up getting the Padres, if they do end up selling here, you're getting an asset that is not particularly far off from being World Series caliber.
No, they're not. And that's why Peter Seidler spent so much money. I mean, typically the Padres weren't big spenders. I mean, they're technically one of the smaller markets, even though it is San Diego, one of the smaller media markets that in baseball. And they started spending heavily in recent years, partly because Peter Seidler knew he was getting towards the end. So he wanted to see a World Series before he went. Didn't end up getting there, but you got Machado on an 11-year contract. Xander Bogaerts on an 11-year contract. Fernando Tatis Jr., 14-year contract. Jackson Merrill, 9-year deal. Jake Cronenworth, 7-year deal. You got some big-time money, big-time salary on the books here for a lot of guys that are going to be aging here. I mean, Machado and Bogaerts are both 33 years old, and they're signed for the next 8 years. So, I mean, is that going to continue for however long under new ownership? Probably not, but right. They signed the deals. Those guys are going to get paid the money. They got Yu Darvish signing a six. Yu Darvish still has 3 more years to go, and he's 39 years old.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Darvish just underwent some sort of surgery.
He did.
Maybe it was.
Yeah.
so I mean, he might be irrelevant. He may
but you're
not
paying him
be...
$16 million to not pitch for you,
and that's all right. I mean, I'm a Yu Darvish guy, knowing what he did in Chicago for the time that he did. He was really good. But, yeah, not ideal. It's a good thing they have the best fielder on the earth. I say with sarcasm, Fernando Tatis. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, the platinum glove.
Platinum glove.
Come on now. That's just horrendous. But yeah,
Bobby Witt got it in the American League, which is okay.
Yeah,
but
that I can handle. No excuse. That's fine, but just terrible. But yeah, the Padres could be up for sale. So if you got a couple $1 billion, you could own the San Diego Padres.
Emmanuel find oil in their backyard. I mean, it's kind of the direction you got to find.
Yeah, just start pulling a landman. Emmanuel Clase, speaking of baseball and selling out, Emmanuel Clase landed at JFK Airport today and has been arrested by the FBI for the pitch rigging scheme. He was indicted the other day, and he had been in the Dominican Republic, at home, and now comes back to JFK to face the charges. So Emmanuel Clase in handcuffs. And we will see how this case ends up going out here. When it comes to the NFL, when it comes to the Packers, they got their Thanksgiving game against the Detroit Lions coming up. And Eminem is going to serve as an executive producer for the Lions Thanksgiving halftime show against the Packers. So I don't know if executive producer means he's just behind the scenes or if he's also going to be performing. But Eminem is going to have some sort of role in that halftime show against the Packers.
I think that makes sense. It's smart to have your most notable artist from your city involved. And Eminem's a huge Lions fan. We've known that for a while. He's become a little bit more prevalent in recent years because they're actually good. But, It can't go wrong there. I think he'll probably perform maybe this year, and then down the road he'll transition out of it. But regardless, I don't know how many of us are really caring about the halftime show during Thanksgiving. If it wasn't the Packers game, I probably wouldn't necessarily care at all. But I think, hot take here, maybe let me see what you think. Let me throw this at the wall, see if it sticks with you. More people watch the halftime show on Thanksgiving than they do during the Super Bowl. And my argument to that is everyone's already sitting around with their family. They're not going anywhere. It's just going to be on, and someone's uncle's got something to bitch about. So whether it's BB Rexa or name your artist at halftime.
Or something political. Yeah.
Right. Oh, here we go.
Yeah. And I'll just be watching whoever this halftime show is. Well, I mean, I would love to agree with that, but I remember when the Packers hosted a game on Thanksgiving and NBC or whoever it was did not show the halftime show. That was Lindsey Sterling, I believe, who was doing the halftime performance. And they showed like 10 seconds as they were going to break, and that was it. Meanwhile, every other one, it's like we're watching the full show, we're seeing all this, crazy stuff going on. And then for when the Packers have it, here's 5 seconds and commercial break. And that's it. That's all we're going to show you. No one else. Like, come on. What are we doing? But as long as they show it on TV, I don't think that's a horrible take.
Regardless, it's the most irrelevant part of any of the football games, the Super Bowl, the halftime shows, and any other games.
For sure. And lastly, in the NBA here, earlier in the week, the most widely expected and highly anticipated move ever happened. Nico Harrison was fired as the general manager of the Dallas Mavericks. And the game before, when they were playing the Bucks, there was this picture and video of this fan in a Luka Doncic Lakers jersey talking with the Mavericks team president and talking about, and he was telling about, hey, it was a mistake to make this trade, and it was really kind of this surreal kind of sight. And sure enough, the next day Nico gets fired. So it's like, in this conversation, maybe it had something to spur that on. And so now that same fan that was talking to the Mavericks team president is out of the Lakers jersey and he's in a Cooper Flag Mavericks jersey. So he is he has gone back to his Mavericks. Now that Nico is gone, the bad man is gone. He's back as a Mavericks fan wearing Mavericks gear.
I saw Bill Simmons. Bill Simmons was breaking down the worst trades ever across the board in all the sports. And, where this one would stack up. And it's definitely one of the worst in NBA history. You had some good points about the Nets had to trade Dr. J to the Sixers to join the NBA or something when there was an ABA-NBA merger.
Oh, that's so tough.
It's like you
hey, in order to join the league, you got to trade us your best player.
It was like literally just like, give us your best player. There wasn't even like I got this guy in return. I swear to God, it was just like, okay, you enter the league, but you give us Dr. J.
Like, jeez, talk about putting their backs against the wall.
Sure, we want to be part of this league, so
we're just going to ruin our chances to win anytime soon.
Right. So,
man,
terrible trade, deserved to be fired. I often try and rationalize things like that because, I've been on the wrong side of fantasy trades and I've had to try and answer for them to league mates. And I was like, okay, well, if Anthony Davis is healthy, Kyrie is healthy, they have a great defensive front court. They have the opportunity to do something special last season. They just need to go on a run. AD gets hurt because of the trade. Kyrie's playing 40 plus minutes. He ruptures his Achilles. Everything is over. And Nico loses his job. So, sucks to be him, but he'll live on in infamy forever.
Yeah, he will. That trade and I think the Deshaun Watson one are the clear top two.
So Simmons referenced in the NFL. Not only to trade for Watson, but to give him the fully guaranteed massive contract is as bad as it gets.
Yeah, it is. And the Julius Erving trade, apparently, so they had to buy Irving's contract for $3 million, which was roughly the same amount as the Nets expansion fee. and the Nets had some financial troubles, and they, in order to be able to cover it, they basically had to sell the contract for that much money just to cover the fee. So
$3 million?
I get it.
Is that what you just said?
What? $3 million.
Did you say what, in the 70s?
In 1976. Okay, what is that money to today?
Let me look it up.
Let me look it up.
You got it?
Yeah,
right.
I got it now.
That's pretty remarkable, and I can understand that was a big ask for the team. They needed that money. So, moving off of Dr. J at $3 million in the 1970s.
Yeah, in 1976. So $1.76 is worth $5 today. So
So it's $15 million.
Five and some change. So $3 million in 76 was worth $17 million and some change today.
Well, that's a pretty big chunk of change.
Yeah.
Today's
it
modern
was
NBA.
Dr. J. I mean, he's
the greatest player of his generation. I think that many have said that. So bad trade. Nico Harrison lost his job. Sucks to be him, but no tears being cried over here.
Did you see his change on his Instagram bio?
I did see it. I wasn't sure if that was fake. I wasn't sure if that was fake. I did see that online. I didn't fact check on that, but that is pretty funny, no doubt about it. I think that that's just the worst thing that could have ever happened. I saw someone describe it yesterday on Fox Sports. It was maybe Nick Wright, and he had said something along the lines of like, you feel sad for the Dallas Mavericks fans, like that this is just like the most egregious move ever. You have arguably the greatest player in franchise history, and I know Dirk is still that and probably would have been for a couple more years until Lucas surpassed him in some statistics.
Right.
But, I mean, he is incredible, and they got nothing in return. They got Flag, but Flag's not a pick they got from the Lakers. It was just dumb luck.
Yeah.
So,
was it dumb luck with that lottery? It seems like every single time the lottery, and it goes to the team. Wow, that team that needs it the most. Meanwhile, the ones that are terrible year in and year out, who have the best odds year in and year out, never end up getting the number one pick.
I think that it is a conversation to be had about lotteries and how they work, if they're rigged, if there's a possibility of that. Wemby ending up with the Spurs is beneficial as well. But I would look at Zion when he ends up in New Orleans, when the Knicks were in a better position to get the first pick, and then he doesn't.
That's the wild part to me almost, because the New York Knicks are the ones who never win it. They always seem to be the ones that are in prime position to win the lottery, and they never win it. At any point, they always are
won the first one
or they're fifth. Like, they're always pushed back, and it's like you'd think the NBA would give the New York Knicks something once in a while.
I think they won the first draft lottery with the frozen envelope when they got Patrick Ewing, so maybe that's why they
sold their soul for Patrick
like they said.
Ewing.
We'll take it if we never get it again. Just give us Patrick Ewing, and that could be the case here. But
I
that
know
was
what they were agreeing to.
Tough break for the Knicks. They're really good now, so we can't really stay too upset for them. They need to do better in the postseason. They need to get a championship. Been a while, about 50 years for them. So, nonetheless, the times are changing, and nothing tells you the times are different than Indiana and Indiana football. 10-0. What do you have to say about this group? Because last year it was, okay, they're beating really bad teams. They lost to the teams they shouldn't be able to beat, right? They lost to Ohio State. They end up losing in the postseason to Notre Dame. Like, okay, they lost the games they're supposed to. They beat Michigan, but Michigan wasn't Michigan last year, and certainly embroiled in some controversy in their season. But this year, they're beating the teams. They beat Oregon. They were able to hold on and beat Penn State, come from behind and beat Penn State this last weekend. I get Penn State's not a good team this year, but the players are all still 5 stars and 4 stars. I mean, it's not like the players all of a sudden walked away and then they have 3 stars. This is a really, really good Indiana football team, and it begs the question. Some people think it's the standard. This is the new standard.
Yeah,
I find it an anomaly. Let me lay the floor out, give you the floor, and see what you think of this program. But I think it's impossible for this to be considered the standard because of the perfect recipe that took in Bloomington for them to get to where they're at. They got the coach, they got the coach's players with him, and they've been able to bring in the same time in exceptional amount of resources financially, which then allows you to build a roster. This does not feel like it can be a standard. It feels like this is an anomaly, and credit where credit's due. They made it work. But for people to think that Wisconsin essentially could then just spend a bunch of money and be a top 10 team next year, I think you're wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly is. It's a combination of factors. I think it's a perfect recipe, perfect storm for Indiana to finally get it together with the infusion of money, the infusion of resources that they got. I mean, Mark Cuban, spending a lot of money for it, but then getting the right head coach in Curt Cignetti, someone who does win. Google him; he wins. He'll tell you as much. Bringing in the players that he did from James Madison, and being able to implement that system pretty quickly because of that, and turning it into that big time kind of powerhouse. So I think it's a little bit of a perfect storm there that they had come up. And it is going to take more money. I mean, in the NIL era and the transfer portal era, in order to get these players in, we have a pay-for-play system that's going on right now. In order to have those guys and keep those guys, it's going to take quite a bit of money. So it is the financial aspect of it. But as Nick Saban has pointed out numerous times on College Game Day and everywhere else, if you don't spend the money on the right players, you're going to be SOL. You're going to be right out of luck. You have to identify the right talent, identify the right players to bring in to spend that money on. Curt Cignetti in Indiana were able to do that. I mean, he knew pretty much all those guys coming from James Madison, and that made up a large chunk of that roster. And being able to coach these guys up, getting the money in and spending it wisely, that's going to quicken your turnaround. Because if you spend it poorly, if you spend a bunch of money on players that don't end up panning out, you're not going to be able to win. And then you're just gonna be like, I'm throwing money at nothing here. It's not going anywhere. So having that success immediately has certainly helped Cignetti. We'll see how sustainable it is for Indiana, but I mean, he's kept it going here for a second year. I think he's proven that it's not just a fluke season that he had last year. So he's been able to continue it going forward. We'll see if it stays that way and Indiana becomes a perennial powerhouse in college football. But having the money is incredibly important, and Wisconsin is kind of finally now realizing, like, okay, we got to significantly increase our financial investment. But it's not just about increasing the financial investment. You have to spend it on the right guys, bring in the right players. And if you don't, you're going to end up just spinning your wheels.
I think that the Wisconsin's going to be in a position next year to prove a lot of things, but I don't think that they'll prove it like Curt Cignetti has to me. Not Eden Madison. We had mailman Jeff message in say, Nick still thinks that he sucks as a coach. I do not think that. I said coming into this season that last year was going to be one of those years where we look back and say, wow, Indiana had their spotlight and then they regressed. They have not regressed. They've only gotten better. So we'll dig into a little bit more of that on the other side. We got Joe Bartle of RotoWire. He'll come on to end our program's third hour. We got one more hour coming up after this, Bruisers Brights included, but Bartle will come on later. So get your fantasy questions in now. Any fantasy football questions you have for week 11 of the NFL season, text them in 877-794-1973. We'll have those answered roughly around 12:35 here today. But you've got DND here on the game.
But he keeps on forgetting what he wrote down. The whole crowd goes so loud. He opens his mouth, but the words won't come out. He's choking how? Everybody's choking now. The clock's run out. Time's up. Over.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
DND will be back in just a moment.
Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1974.
In April, Diamond Dogs is a #1 album in the UK for David Bowie. It goes to #5 in the US.
Rebel, rebel, you torn your dress. Rebel, rebel, your face is a mess. Rebel, rebel, how could they know? Hot tramp, I love you so.
In June of 1974, Chicago funk band Rufus, featuring lead singer Shaka Khan, score a number 3 hit with Tell Me Something Good. UK supergroup Bad Company have a number 1 album and a top 5 single, Can't Get Enough.
Can't get enough of your love. I can't get enough of your love. I can't get enough of your love. Yeah, this one.
And Dutch hard rock band Golden Earring have a number 13 hit with the single Radar Love.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1974. Coming up.
If you missed No BS, you missed out on this.
If you ever have jury duty, both the defense and the plaintiff, they can pick the jurors together.
Thanks for that reminder. I've actually never gotten to do jury
Twice. I got it 3 times.
I got it twice. Once on my 18th birthday, and I went through the entire trial process, and at the end, they cut one person. I was like, of course I get cut. I sit through all this, and I don't even get to be a part of the decision-making process.
No.
I was so mad.
Yeah, I had it 3 times already, Billy.
Jeez.
What's going on here? You know what I mean?
I'm an outstanding member of society.
You want to do it?
Pay taxes.
I love that you
don't want to do it, Billy.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I want to perform my civic duty.
I love that.
Everybody sits around and gripes about it.
You're right.
I want to
We
perform
should
my
be
civic
happy.
duty.
You know what?
Court system. I'm right here.
First
My
time-
wife gets the notification of the summons this week. She is complaining up and down. Oh,
Can you be her tribute?
I can't do this. No, you can't volunteer as tribute. I looked online. I was ready to Hunger Games that thing. Walk right in there. I volunteer as tribute. My wife's got 2 kids at home, basically running a preschool in our living room. I just make jokes on the radio. I will be the guy that potentially has somebody's fate in their hands, and they don't want that for some reason.
You know, I'm proud of you, Billy. I'm proud of that attitude. That's the correct attitude to have.
Be honest with
And
you,
should have
I had to hold back from swearing a couple of times because
I
I
love
think
that.
it's bull. It's BS, like the name of the show. 31 years on this earth. I've been available for 12 of them.
Come on, Milwaukee.
They've only given me 1 time as the reserve guy. I called in every hour. I was so juiced.
Oh,
I
so
was
you-
dressed.
Sure.
I had a fake briefcase ready to roll down there. I know you can't even bring
You
anything
had a
in.
collared shirt on.
Yes.
Look like Hunter Baumgart.
We're going to defend him?
I don't know that I have ever worn a collared shirt tucked in outside of in a suit. Your boy was suited and booted, ready to roll down there
So proud of you, man.
to the courthouse.
Yeah.
Call
I'm so
in,
proud.
automated voice message.
The reserve jurors are unneeded for the afternoon of 4/19/24.
Dang it!
Listen to No BS with Billy and Armin every weekday from 6 to 10 right here on The Game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1972.
He was singing bye, bye, Miss American Pie. Drove a Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. And good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, and singing, this will be the day that I die. This will be the day that I die.
1972, Don McLean goes to number 1 with the single and album American Pie. Paul Simon's solo debut gives him a top 10 hit, Mother and Child Reunion. Fast forward to March, where Neil Young has a number 1 album and a number 1 single with Heart of Gold. And Deep Purple released their quintessential album Machine Head, which goes to number 1 in the UK, number 7 in the US, and features the classic hit Smoke on the Water.
Smoke on the water, a fire in the sky. Smoke on the water.
Also in March, the band America releases their debut album. It goes to number 1 and yields a number 1 single with Horse with No Name.
See, I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert, you can remember your name, 'cause there ain't no one for to give you no pain.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1972. Coming up.
iHeartRadio is the easy-to-use app for music and radio. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
We call it Wagertainment.
All right, place your bets. Place your bets.
VSiN every night at 6. Presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet above the rest on Fox Sports 920.
Back here on the game, you've got D&D with me, Nick Kruzwitz, and Dave Gasper. And although D as in Doug is unavailable for today, I guess it could stand for dentist. I got a dentist appointment tomorrow morning. And
oh, no.
I'm just jumping through some hoops right now, right? We had the same prior dentist, Dave. It's a group that we had struggles with. So I've lined up in another dentist, maybe a local chain here in Madison. And, I'm looking forward to maybe actually having a regular dental appointment. But still, does anyone look forward to the dentist? Like, I look forward to completing the task and making sure, I'm treating myself and doing the right thing for my health. But I've never once been like, I look forward to the process. I just look forward to the completion and then knowing, okay, you did the responsible thing. But maybe there are people out there who like going to the dentist for whatever reason. And if you are out there and you want to weigh in and let me know why you like going to the dentist, you can weigh in on 877-794-1973, the NicoletLaw.com talking text line. We got Joe Bartle in a handful of minutes here, so I want to make sure to give some folks some time to also get in their fantasy questions. But I do have a dentist appointment this time. Thank you, Mailman Jeff. Last time I went and they were like, we have nothing on record for you.
Yeah,
so that's not possible.
That's tough. I had that too. The exact same thing where I'm going in. It's just like, so we got this appointment set up here for Monday. And no, I don't see it in the system here. Let me check with the person that you talked to.
All right.
Yeah, we don't have it in here. Oh, okay. I guess I'll just leave. I guess you don't want my business for whatever it is, but
I'm missing work.
That's
for
crazy.
This.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the crazy part of it too. It's like, hey, I've only got so much time dedicated to this. Like, I specifically took out for this because we said we had an appointment at the state. It's like, I know you probably haven't watched it. Armin would get this, but there's a Seinfeld, scene where they've got the rental car reservation, and Jerry, like, he makes the reservation with the rental car company, and then they're like, yeah, we don't have any cars, and he's like, but I have a reservation. Well, yeah, I know what a reservation. I don't think you do, because if you had the reservation, there would be a car for me. So it's if I made an appointment, you'd have a chair for me. Like I'd be able to go in right now. Like, what are we doing? We made an appointment. I had like the little card, the little reminder card with the date and the time. And no, nothing. I'm like, geez, you guys, come on. It's not that hard to make an appointment and to hold it.
Exactly. And, they go through the effort of writing that little card and giving it to us. You'd think that they would go through the effort of actually scheduling it. They said it's possible that on that day, they didn't actually complete the scheduling process. I'm like, isn't that their job?
Yeah. Aren't you the scheduling person? Like, isn't that your primary job here?
Pretty big deal.
What would you say you do here?
That's right.
Tony in Oak Creek. I love the dentist. I actually fall asleep during root canals. I think they're supposed to put you to sleep during root canals.
Well, even if they
I'm glad you're
don't,
sleeping during them, Tony, because being awake for a root canal, I don't think that's going to be fun for anybody.
Not fun. No, they do the anesthetic, right? But yikes. No thanks. Rand Corp likes Foxy dental assistants. So
there you go.
There's
a reason to go. Yeah.
Right. I believe they're called oral hygienists, but dental
hygienists. Yeah. Jesus.
I mean,
there's oral hygiene, but there's dental hygienists.
I mean, it is dead. Just mix up your words a couple of times. I mean, it could have been worse. Could have been a much worse blunder. But
one's hoping, I guess.
I will be. I will be absent, I believe, hopefully, as long as the appointment actually holds for the first hour or so tomorrow. So if anyone's wondering where I am tomorrow, it'll be because I am at the dentist getting a cleaning, which was supposed to happen a couple months ago. And now I'm getting it at a whole separate company. Hopefully this time it goes much better.
Hopefully. Yeah, because I mean, you can only push that off for so long.
I don't get paid when I take time off. I mean, other people can maybe take a half day and they get half paid. No, none of it. I just take the time and I look at myself in the mirror and ask myself what I'm doing wrong. That's what happens when I go to the dentist appointment. That doesn't happen. I don't know. Jonah in River Falls says something to you. Apparently it is that
It is that hard. To try and get an appointment and schedule the dentist appointment or get a rental car reservation, whatever it is. It's like you can take the reservation, but you got to hold it. That's the main part of it. The main part of making an appointment is so that when I'm there, you're able to take me in. But we shall see. We'll find out tomorrow if that ends up being the case. And are you going to end up having to have the cotton balls in your mouth or the?
No, I never had any problems. Never had any problems. I would be shocked if there's anything besides like a 20-minute cleaning. That I never had a cavity, never had an issue.
Oh, look at you. That'll change.
Yeah, I know, right? Pat myself on my back a little bit there. But on the other side, we'll talk with Joe Bartle, who is always on time, always ready to go to talk fantasy football. It's what he does. So if you got any questions for this week 11 of the NFL season, text him in now, 877-794-1973. Joe Bartle of RotoWire will be on the other side answering those questions and more. Stay tuned. It's D&D on the game.
You can go the distance, you can run the mile, you can walk straight through hell with a smile. You could be the hero, you can get the goal.
Want to watch D&D? They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
There you go.
There we go.
Just search 97.3 The Game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1973.
In November of 73, Billy Joel's second album yields a minor hit with Piano Man, which goes to number 25.
Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. Well, we're all in the mood for a melody, and you've got us feeling all right.
Ringo Starr continues his solo success with the number 2 album and 3 top 10 hits, including 2 number 1s, Photograph and You're 16. Meanwhile, John Lennon releases his 4th solo album, Mind Games, which goes to number 9 in the U.S. And in December, the single Taken Care of Business drives the second album by Canadian rock band Bachman Turner Overdrive to number 4. Emerson, Lake and Palmer released their 4th album, Brain Salad Surgery, which goes to number 11. And after passing away in a plane crash in September, Jim Croce has a posthumous number 1 with Time in a Bottle.
Looked around enough to know you're the one I want to go through time.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1973. Coming up.
He did it again.
The 2025 National League Manager of the Year, once again, is Pat Murphy. Congratulations, Murph.
Brewers manager Pat Murphy is the NL Manager of the Year for the second straight season.
I think it's the statement for the Milwaukee Brewers, from ownership to the ivory tower to our coaching staff. It's an organizational award, and I'm very pleased to be part of this organization.
He's one of just 4 managers in baseball history to win the award in back-to-back seasons.
I got a little pocket pancake right here. They're wonderful. You want some?
Congratulations, Murph, from all of us at the game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1975.
In September, the Isley Brothers have a number 1 album, The Heat Is On, driven by the number 4 single, Fight the Power. Alive is a 2-record live album that goes to number 9 for Kiss. They released the single Rock and Roll All Night, which goes to number 12. David Bowie switches to Philly Soul on the LP Young Americans, featuring the number 1 single Fame, which was co-written by John Lennon. UK rock band Foghat have a top 20 hit with Slow Ride from the album Fool for the City. In October of 75, Pink Floyd released their follow-up to Dark Side of the Moon. Wish You Were Here goes to number 1 in the US and the UK.
And have we found the same old fears? Wish you were here.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1975. Coming up.
iHeartRadio.
Here are the top Fleetwood Mac songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, Don't Stop.
Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop using me. It'll be better than before. Yesterday's gone. Yesterday's gone.
Number 2, Dreams. Number 1, Go Your Own Way.
You can go your own way. Go your own way. You can call it another day.
Hear more from Fleetwood Mac and similar artists now. Search for Fleetwood Mac on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
I'm Jason Flom, founding board member of the Innocence Project, and my new podcast is Wrongful Conviction, available on iHeartRadio. On Wrongful Conviction, I interview a different exoneree every week and help them to tell their incredible stories of tragedy and triumph against impossible odds. You've got to hear it to believe it. Wrongful Conviction from iHeart Studios, available now on iHeartRadio.
Back here on the game, we've got D&D, Dave Gasper, and me, Nick Kruswitz, holding it down today as we head for the finish line of hour number 3. As always, at this time slot, every Thursday we visit with Joe Bartle of RotoWire, a operations specialist, lead football contributor there, and friend of the program. And before we dig into the fantasy questions, I know Joe's a huge Packers fan. I just want to get your pulse on this Green Bay Packer team that's finding ways to lose games that they absolutely shouldn't.
Ooh, I don't know if we have enough time to get my pulse on things, other than I can guarantee you they will lose to the Jameis Winston Giants this week. I mean, no head coach, no quarterback one, no running back one, no wide receiver one. In the Matt LaFleur era, aren't they like 0-7 in those scenarios? Like every debilitating loss has been absolutely up their alley and that kind of thing. So I was content with the idea it was Russell Wilson, even though I called it on Monday that there's no way the Giants do that. And I am absolutely worried that Jameis Winston's going to just kind of dice apart this defense, and the Packers will do just enough to lose on a either missed field goal or winning field goal by the Giants, and we'll do the same old conversation next week when they play an inferior opponent next time around.
Well, I hope that this is just pessimism and ultimately not reality. The Packers have to win this game, I think, to have any sort of respect moving forward. We'll start with tonight, and I don't know how many guys you even care about in this matchup between the Jets and the Patriots. It's Breece Hall and Mason Taylor, your guy probably for the Jets. And then on the other side, Bootie's out. So you got Drake May, Travion Henderson, Stephon Diggs. I don't know if this is going to be one of those games where you look at it and there's a ton of fantasy points to go around.
Yeah, I mean, no, we're Ramondre Stevenson, so Travion Henderson probably gets an opportunity. Terrell Jennings, who's been replacing Ramondre Stevenson, he's also banged up. He'll play, but if this is ever going to be a volume sort of game for Travion Henderson, it probably would be this sort of outcome where you're missing Stevenson and Jennings. So I think Travion Henderson's probably a play. You're right, Breece Hall's in that conversation. I think you're playing Stephon Diggs as well, too. The Jets defense really isn't good, and especially isn't good after the Sauce Gardner and Quentin Williams trade as well. And it took multiple return touchdowns in order to beat the Cleveland Browns last week. And even then, less passing yards from the Jets' perspective. So whether it be Mason Taylor, I know A.D. Mitchell is an acquisition from the Colts as well in that trade with Sauce Gardner. There really is no other offensive player of the Jets outside of Breece Hall that I want to play. But I do think Stephon Diggs, I think Travion Henderson's that mix. If you're desperate at tight end, Hunter Henry probably has a chance to score a touchdown. It's just that these Thursday night games get really weird, especially divisional ones. And I guess I would be probably more shocked if the Patriots end up annihilating the Jets as opposed to the Jets hanging around and the Patriots barely winning in like a 14. What we watched last week with the Broncos Raiders is probably my expectation, hopefully with more offense to some degree in this game for tonight.
Joe, This week, we saw A.J. Brown making some noise. His frustration with his role in the offense and how the Eagles offense has been going, saying, quote, "If you got me on fantasy, get rid of me." As an A.J. Brown fantasy owner, should I get rid of him or bench him? Or what do we do here about this A.J. Brown situation?
Yeah, as another A.J. Brown fantasy manager, I would answer back, I've tried. And nobody wants to trade for you, right? Like, I mean, and rightfully so. Outside of maybe 2 games, the Eagles' passing attack has not looked very good. And unless a team is pushing the Eagles to try offensively, you're probably not going to see the Eagles do anything. And even then, there have been games where you would think the Eagles need to kind of keep pace to score points, and they'll look to pass the ball more, and it just has not happened. I don't know if it's this week against the Lions. Like, I know the Lions' offense looks great against the Commanders. I think the Commanders are going to be down at the end of the year. It's like one of the 4 worst defenses in the league. They're just old and slow and injured, and I think the Lions can take advantage of those kinds of games. I think the Eagles' defensive line, now of course the Packers' offensive line was horrendously miserable on Monday, but I think the Lions' offensive line is probably going to struggle too. We know Jared Goff, in weather conditions that will get a little bit bleak, a little bit colder, he struggles as well. So I think the Lions' offense is going to have their difficulties this week, and the Eagles, once again, aren't going to really have any interest in trying to push the ball or be aggressive. So to A.J. Brown's point, which then he said on Twitch stream, if you have me in fantasy, get rid of me in some capacity. I'd love to, AJ. You just aren't doing anything, and there isn't any opportunities for anyone else to kind of hoodwink you on that. Like, there has to be more volume associated to your fantasy game. It's not been happening, and I don't see any reason why it's going to change either.
Yeah, let's hope that it does change. I think that we're unanimous across the board and hoping for more production from A.J. Brown moving forward. But we got a couple of texters weighing in with questions for you, Joe, so we'll start there. Nathan Muskego has Breece Hall or Travis Etienne as his RB2. Which one would you prefer?
Yeah, I would rather go Etienne. It's not like the Chargers' defense is that much better or worse than the Patriots, but there is something about if there's going to be a low-scoring game and Vegas does have this total pretty low, that I guess I'd just rather be involved in the game where there should be more points. And it's certainly possible that with all the woes Jacksonville has had passing, they try to get more screenplays to Etienne. Brian Thomas Jr. might be available, which will help the offense as a whole. So I think Etienne over Breece Hall is the way I'd go this week.
We got another one on a 16-team league looking for a super deep sleeper at running back. And maybe you don't have one at the tip of your tongue, but if you do, who or maybe what game script are you looking at?
Yeah, I kind of am interested in Taj Brooks, and I have to think he's available even in the 16-team format, now third-string running back for the Bengals. He was one of this, again, vaunted rookie running back class that was, I thought, supposed to take the world by storm. And we've had it a little bit. We're getting glimpses, right? Henderson has breakout game. We had a very bit of Lauren Hampton as well. R.J. Harvey could do that now with J.K. Dobbins. But the reason this was such a good running back class was that day 3 group, like Devin Neal, for example, or Ollie Gordon, and I think now Taj Brooks. Like, we wanted to see some of those guys elevate. Now, Samaje Perine didn't practice Wednesday. We'll see his stats as well Thursday. But that was a high ankle sprain that was suffered right before the bye. The reality is Samaje Perine probably isn't playing, and Perine was getting close to 8 touches per game. Again, in a super deep league, like a 16-team league, Taj Brooks might have some volume, might have some opportunity in a game which we think there's going to be offense, of course, because the Bengals defense is so bad. So I look Taj Brooks' direction.
We have more people weighing in, asking about their individual leagues. Mailman Jeff is questioning if swapping my team this year is quickly turning into a dumpster fire. Somewhat of a bright spot is CeeDee Lamb. Is it fair to ask for a 3rd-round pick in next year's draft for CeeDee? And I asked him if this is a dynasty league, and he said no. So in some way, some configuration, he'd be adding a 3rd-round pick to his draft ledger next year. Is that enough value for maybe a top 5 wide receiver the rest of the way?
Yeah, I mean, you're describing what I would assume to be a keeper league format, and in those keeper leagues, you can have the rounds being traded. If we're just doing redraft, CeeDee Lamb this year was a top 5 pick, and I have to imagine next year, provided he doesn't have any sort of crippling injury, will at minimum be a first-round selection. The Cowboys could add on the offensive line, or they could draft a running back higher, and there's going to be a lot of reasons to say the Cowboys offense, which has been good this year, will be even better next year. And when that optimism happens, it's just sort of a repeat, especially the volume that Lamb gets. So in my mind, if we're just saying, would Lamb get drafted in round 3 next year, I think he'd have to be higher. But in keeper leagues, that first round can sometimes change a little bit more. That's why I think we would love a little bit more detail with the question itself. I understand, and I completely agree with the premise that if your team isn't doing well this year, trying to trade over for assets next year makes sense. But I think Lamb, as just a third-round pick for the way I'm understanding these league rules currently, I would probably want a little bit more. And I'll always say, unless you're like getting a little bit of the prize pool on the side with this, I don't love giving my league mates just a win because I feel good for them. Maybe our caller in is just a generous guy, and good for you. We need more of those people in our lives just overall. But I'm kind of vindictive as well as pessimistic. I don't want to have my league mates just have happiness and celebration when I have to be sorrowful with my lineup. So I'm not going to give Lamb away for free, even if I don't know what I can do with him next year. Like, let's put him out to the rest of the league. Let's see what the offers are, and we'll just take the best one from there.
Okay, I got a question for you, Joe. So in my league here, the station league that we have, so I've got that a little bit of a tight end backlog here because I got Bowers, I got Kincaid, I've got Evan Engram there as well, and I've got needs really popping up at running back because I got Bijan Robinson, but my RB2, I'm looking at Tony Pollard and J.K. Dobbins as what I have left as options there. So still got another week or so until the trade deadline hits in this league. So if I'm going to be trading, say, a Dalton Kincaid, who are some players that you think would be some running backs that you think would be maybe an equivalent value that I should try and target?
Yeah, it's a good question. I would say probably the easier answer just for what you'd likely get is Brock Bowers, but we don't know how long Kincaid's going to be out. I think that's going to be unfortunate with the time frame of the trade deadline to sort of negotiate that because realistically, if he's out this week and Kincaid's out next week, the person acquiring Kincaid would have really loved to have him during the stretch. That's why they're looking for the tight end to begin with. So Bowers might be an easier call. And obviously you can't really move Evan Engram whatsoever. I guess if I'm trying to trade Kincaid, could I send Kincaid and something for DeAndre Swift? Could I send Kincaid and something even like I think Chase Brown's probably a bit a level too high, for example, but I think we're talking about running back 22 to 28 range, and maybe even a guy like RJ Harvey because you have J.K. Dobbins would be useful. The person who drafted RJ Harvey probably has been pretty disappointed with his production, and while they likely have sat on him for this exact moment, you could swoop in with I think a relatively fair offer and give a 2-for-1 sort of deal, and hopefully they need a tight end position. But the easier answer to me is you look at the tight end landscape. In a 12-team league, there are at minimum 10 teams that won't even need Kincaid. Not that Kincaid's good or bad, but they'll be like, no, I'm fine with Dallas Goedert. I'll roll with Juwan Johnson. I got a pickup this week. Or, we got the replacement of Mark Andrews. Like, I got him off waivers. It's fine. Like, there's gonna be at minimum 75% of your league that just will have zero interest in giving up an asset for Kincaid. Whereas everyone can theoretically talk themselves into Bowers, and you can make the selling point, well, hey, 2 weeks ago, he literally won people leagues in the same way Jonathan Taylor has. Forget that he hasn't done that basically the rest of the season. You're buying the premise now. He's healthy. Like, it might be easier to make a deal, especially to fix that running back 2 spot when you're trying to move a Bowers.
Okay. There we go. All right. I will look around the trade block here.
That's right. And be persistent.
Yeah.
These are guys you work with, so you can text them, call them, walk up to them in person. You know, be persistent.
No. You're describing the exact opposite way to do this. You don't want to annoy them into trading with you.
I have seen it.
Yeah, it's a great way to get them to reject trading with you.
I have seen it in my most prominent league. People saying, "quote I made the trade so he would shut up." So if you want to go that route, you can do it. Joe, before we gotta let you go, some news on other Joes, Joe Burrow in particular in the league, and how that might change the fantasy landscape as the postseason arrives. Does that make it even more of a interest to acquire Bengals assets? Well, you can if Joe Burrow could even take them to the next level come fantasy playoffs.
Yeah, some would say the other Joe Cool, since I am certainly as cool as
That's
Joe Burrow is. I would. I think Joe Flacco's really elevated both Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and not that Burrow can't. But if we're like, I need to go ahead and get more Bengals guys. I mean, really, probably the only ones you want to acquire in that scenario is Chase Brown. And even Chase Brown's been having a good couple weeks now, and could be more after the bye week for the Bengals too. So I don't know if it's like Joe Burrow is back now. The offense gets better. They're already one of the best offenses in the league, and the reason they are is because the defense is so bad. It almost might be counter to that. And not that I want to trade Jamar Chase or T. Higgins, that's not what I'm saying at all, but Joe Burrow, because of the way he can elevate the offense, doesn't have to score quickly, can read defenses, make throws. I almost wonder if Joe Burrow is going to be able to kind of paper mache over how bad this defense is. And instead of giving up 47 to the Bears, maybe only give up 37 because Burrow is able to milk a few more drives. Like, that's sort of the scenario I see with Joe Burrow, as opposed to now I need to go get Bengals guys more. Like, I don't really think it's possible right now to say they're going to get better fantasy value with Burrow.
Joe, we got about 1 minute left, and we had a question from the 414 asking about who are some low-risk, high-reward players to target. Just give them one. Who's someone that you think might be better than they've been so far, but so far they've been rock solid?
I guess so far they've been rock solid. I actually like Kyle Monangai if I can get him in a trade, because the idea is DeAndre Swift gets hurt. The Bears have nobody else from a depth perspective, and we've watched Monangai be that guy, and the Bears wanting him to be that guy in the scenario that Swift ends up missing time. It's possible that Swift is healthy. He stays healthy all year, certainly. That's why getting Monangai right now is kind of a cheaper asset, and I do think it's the perfect. Well, he'll get you 6 points right now if you need him to be a running back, but if Swift goes out, my goodness, he could be a league winner come the fantasy playoffs.
Love it. Don't love the fact he's a Bear, but we love talking to you, Joe Bartle, every week here on DND. Appreciate your time. Looking forward to our next conversation down the road.
Yeah, come on, Packers. Please prove me wrong. Please prove me wrong. Talk to you guys next week.
Joe Bartle, operations specialist, lead football contributor at RotoWire. You can find him, JB Fantasy Sports on X. Look up RotoWire, ROTOWIRE.com. Pretty good fantasy stuff there. I have a bias, but that's where they all started. 30 years ago, RotoWire. Roto Sports was the first one to have that kind of aggregate fantasy data. So, Joe Bartle, great work, and he answered our questions, Dave.
He did, and it was fantastic at it, as always.
And the best thing about it, too, is he's a Packers fan, and you can tell he wears it on his sleeve. So, on the other side, we'll dig into Bruiser's Bites. The time has come for that, and we'll get you set for your Thursday night. You got D&D on the game.
Listening to DND with Doug, Nick, and Dave.
This pains me to say this, but Dave's right.
Hey, why does that pain you to say? I'm right quite a bit, I think.
Middays here on the game.
Looking back at the world of sports, it's the iHeartRadio Weekend Sports Time Capsule.
What's happening, fellow sports fans? It's Andy West, and I'm here to take you on a journey back to this week in sports history. We'll start off in 1914. Babe Ruth makes his MLB debut, pitching a 4-3 Boston Red Sox win over the Cleveland Naps at Fenway Park. This week in 1934, Carl Hubble strikes out Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Jimmy Fox, Al Simmons, and Joe Cronin in succession. But the American League comes back to win the All-Star Game 9-7 at the Polo Grounds. Staying in baseball, this week in 1955, St. Louis's Stan Musial hit Frank Sullivan's first pitch of the 12th inning for a home run to give the National League All-Star team a 6-5 victory over the American League at Milwaukee's County Stadium. The American League had led 5-0 after 6 innings. This week in 1972, Robert Irsay buys the stock of the LA Rams for $19 million and swaps the franchise for the Baltimore Colts. The players and coaches are not affected. This week in 1999, Team USA wins the Women's World Cup over China in sudden death. The Americans win 5-4 in penalty kicks, with defender Brandi Chastain kicking the game winner.
Play ball!
And this week in 2010, Brian McCann's 3-run double in the 7th inning provided the National League all the offense it needed to capture its first Midsummer Classic since 1996 with a 3-1 victory.
And that's just some of what happened this week in sports history. The Weekend Sports Time Capsule on iHeartRadio. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1978.
In January of 1978, the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack is released, featuring the music of the Bee Gees. It hits #1 in the U.S. for more than 6 months. An amazing 18 weeks at #1 in the UK, it becomes the best-selling soundtrack album of all time. In February of 78, Pasadena, California hard rock band Van Halen released their self-titled debut album. It hits #19 on the charts. Their cover of The Kinks' You Really Got Me cracks the top 40 at number 36. In March, the Patti Smith Group released their third album, Easter. It goes to #20. Their single, Because the Night, goes to #13. It was co-written with Bruce Springsteen. In May of 78, Detroit rock singer Bob Seger releases his 10th album, Stranger in Town. It goes to number 4 in the U.S., yielding 3 top 20 singles, including Still the Same, which also goes to number 4.
Are you still the same?
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1978. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1973.
In November of 73, Billy Joel's second album yields a minor hit with Piano Man, which goes to number 25.
Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. Well, we're all in the mood for a melody, and you've got us feeling all right.
Ringo Starr continues his solo success with the number 2 album and 3 top 10 hits, including 2 number 1s, Photograph and You're 16. Meanwhile, John Lennon releases his 4th solo album, Mind Games, which goes to number 9 in the U.S. And in December, the single Taking Care of Business drives the second album by Canadian rock band Bachman Turner Overdrive to number 4. Emerson, Lake and Palmer released their 4th album, Brain Salad Surgery, which goes to number 11. And after passing away in a plane crash in September, Jim Croce has a posthumous number 1 with Time in a Bottle.
Looked around enough to know you're the one I want to go through time.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1973. Coming up.
Classic Cuts.
Call this one beginner's luck. Guitarist Robbie Krieger of The Doors explains how his very first attempt at writing a song resulted in the band's signature hit.
Well, believe it or not, that was the first song I ever wrote. And one day Jim says, you guys, we need more songs, Why don't you guys try to write some? Because he had been writing all the songs. So I went home and I wrote to most of Light My Fire in about one afternoon. And I came back and we all arranged it together and stuff. But it's, really amazing that was my first song because I didn't know how to write a song.
Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. Try to set me right on fire. Nothing will be untrue.
Listen to us live 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app and watch our shows each weekday on YouTube, Facebook, and X. We are the Game.
Welcome back to D&D on the Game. Dave Gasper along with Nick Brusewitz, getting you through your workday on this Thirsty Thursday here. One more day until we're almost at the weekend. So it's coming up fast. The week has gone by somewhat fairly fast here. So we've had a full show for you today. We just finished talking with Joe Bartle from RotoWire, getting your fantasy football questions answered, helping you get set up for success this week in your fantasy football matchups. We've been talking, Nick's got a dentist appointment tomorrow, and how fun that's going to be because there's nothing more fun than that. We've been talking jerseys. How many jerseys do you have? What one is your favorite? What's your most random jersey that you own? We'll get in more of your texts here on the NicoletLaw.com talking text line 877-794-1973. Coming up later on here in the hour as we continue in the final hour of the show today. But before we do any of that, before we get caught up on the jerseys, before we continue with any of that discussion, we must get to what everyone's been waiting for, the highly anticipated, often imitated, never duplicated, Bruiser's Bites.
Time now for Bruiser's Bites.
It's time for Bruiser's Bites. As always, it's right off the top of the 1 o'clock hour today. We'll begin at 1:01. So pretty darn good there. We were right there and we did it. Wisconsin Concrete Coatings, wiconcretecoatings.com. They'll do your garage floors, your garage cabinetry, your outdoor deck, patio, anything that's concrete. they can help you out with. Their polyurea coating will make it look fantastic this time of year. It won't get messed up. I mean, your garage floors take a beating in the winter, whether it's salt, sand, anything coming off of your vehicle from those nasty roads. If they're coated with your polyurea coating that you can get from Wisconsin Concrete Coatings, you're going to be in a much, much better position to clean your floors, to use your floors. They're slip resistant when wet, skid resistant. So visit wiconcretecoatings.com to see their great work and schedule your consult today. And talking about consult, you're going to have to figure out who you can consult if you're Matt LaFleur to get this offense back on track. And maybe it's just him. Maybe he's the guy and he has to figure it out within his own realm of ability. But I think a pretty even-keeled, oftentimes not quick to judge Packer fan, our friend Aaron Nagler. And he had this to say about Matt LaFleur's job status on Cheesehead TV.
Look, they got 8 games to figure this out. If they don't pull their head out of their ass on offense, Matt's gone. Like, that's not hyperbole. You guys know I am not prone to overreaction. But if they continue to look like this for another month or two, yeah, it's done. To your exact point, you have a defense that has shut teams down, kept them off the scoreboard week after week after week, and you keep losing these games. Like, this is a team to build. The window is open right now.
Do you ever anticipate that this would be a conversation for the Green Bay Packers this year? I know that there was some sort of idea floating around that this was a make or break year because of comments from Ed Policy that he doesn't like lame duck years, so they won't enter next year without a contract extension. But I didn't think that we'd be in a position where it's like, okay, yeah, it might actually be feasible that Matt LaFleur does not have a job.
Yeah, it might be. I know there was just kind of some section of the fan base was always like, LaFleur's not it. LaFleur's not it. He's got all these problems, but by and large, the success of the team was able to overshadow any of that. So, I was not expecting coming into the year that this would be the case. I thought with the team that they put together, Jordan Love being in his 3rd year as a starter, Tucker Kraft emerging, getting Matthew Golden into the mix. I figured this offense will be much better, but it hasn't been. They have shown lots of struggle. That there have been some flashes of good things too. But some of the struggles against opponents where they shouldn't be struggling, it's problematic. And I completely agree with Nagler. If this continues the rest of the way, they almost have to make a change because what we've been seeing, especially the past 2 weeks, has been brutal on the offensive end. So something's got to change. They got to play better on the offensive end because if they don't, Ed Policy is going to have almost no choice but to make a change at head coach. And, and one of those possibilities as well, because we've talked about Jeff Hafley potentially being a head coaching candidate. If you do move on from LaFleur, could you possibly elevate Jeff Hafley to head coach and then bring in a new offensive coordinator and have him call plays? There's a thought that I'm throwing out there as a possibility. I know we're getting a little ahead of ourselves because LaFleur still employed, but still, that's something that I could see as a real possibility.
Very interesting premise. I don't know. They're kind of boys. Like, would Hafley do it if they fired LaFleur? But
well, I mean, it's not his choice to fire LaFleur. But I mean, if LaFleur's out the door and they're like, "Hey, man, we want you to be the head coach," I mean, what's he gonna? Is he gonna say no to that opportunity? I mean, he's gonna stick with with his defense.
I don't know.
It's exactly the same kind of situation. Well, maybe not exactly, but when Craig Counsell left to go to Chicago, when he left for the Cubs, him and Pat Murphy were boys. They have been boys. But guess what? Pat Murphy got offered the job in Milwaukee, and he stayed and he took it.
It's a great point, Dave. And I didn't think about it like that. I mean, there have been cases in the past where the interim coach was of interest and they wanted to hire them. And Anthony Lynn sticks out to me. He was the Bills interim coach and then left to be the Chargers coach instead of staying in Buffalo. But yeah, Hafley's going to be a head coach at some point. I think a lot of people agree with that, and Doug's one of them, and many people think that could be as soon as this offseason. But first and foremost, the Packers have to fix their offense this week against the Giants, and a lot of frustration, whether it is in or outside of the team. This is what head coach Matt LaFleur had to say about some of that frustration and how much he shares in it.
I promise you, as frustrated as anybody may be out there, you're not as frustrated as I am. I believe in our guys. And so it's all about just finding solutions. And I can't worry what has happened in the past. It's happened, unfortunately. So there's no reason in just like beating yourself up over it. You better have a short-term memory and you got to move on.
Can the Packers erase the concerns this week? Are the Giants a good enough team for them if they were to kind of run it up on the scoreboard for you to say, okay, they're back on track?
I mean, I think they can erase some concerns for the time being, but it's not like beating up on the Giants is going to make everyone believe like, okay, everything is fixed now, because we've seen too many of these issues too often throughout the season. Because when we looked at how they beat the Steelers, it's like, oh, hey, everything looks great. They've got it figured out here. And then the next 2 weeks have been duds offensively. So I think after having seen the ups and downs of this season, you can look at basically taking the Giants to the woodshed and just be like, okay, well, they did what they were supposed to do, did what they needed to do. That's great. But it's hard to make any sort of sweeping declaration. Okay, they're back. They figured it out. But that being said, if they struggle against the Giants, I think you're just going to get more and more of those declarations, more and more of those frustrations that this team hasn't been able to figure it out offensively. And I completely agree with LaFleur, too. As frustrated as any of us are on the radio or listening to, as frustrated as any fan is, Matt LaFleur and that team is way more frustrated than any of us are about the way things have been going.
Well, this weekend presents an opportunity to face a rather putrid Giants team with their backup quarterback, backup running back, and without Malik Neighbors, and now without their head coach. So Xavier McKinney recognizes it's a pretty important game. He went as far to say it's a must-win.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a must-win. I think we put ourselves kind of in a sticky situation, but it is what it is. Things happen. Obviously, everything don't go always as planned that you want it to go sometimes, but you got to make do with the circumstances that you have and the type of environment that it is. So that's just what it is.
Would you agree or disagree with him that it's a must-win for the Green Bay Packers this weekend?
I mean, I agree in the sense that this is a game that you do have to win. I mean, you can debate all day long the definition of must win, because if you don't win, yes, it's your fourth loss in the schedule, and it just puts a lot more pressure on the other games in the remainder of the regular season in order to get yourself into the playoffs. And nothing can truly be must win until the postseason. But this is a very important game for them to win. If they're going to showcase that they can be a playoff team, that they are on the right track, that they will be able to put it together. If you can't put it together against the Giants, who just fired their head coach, who are starting another new quarterback, Jameis Winston, who has a long history of throwing interceptions, very bad interceptions. If you can't put it together then I have very little faith that they'd be able to put it together against the Lions and the Bears and the Vikings 5 more times the rest of the season.
Well, they're going to have to put together a new configuration on the offensive line. Elton Jenkins now out with a lower leg injury for the foreseeable future. So Sean Rhyan slots in as your new starting center. This is what he had to say about losing opportunities in the past and now starting once again with Green Bay.
Yeah, right. It's kind of like that theme of, my career is just kind of, one of those things, but can't break, can't bend, or got to bend, you can't break. So I kind of just stayed ready. It's kind of one of those things, right? So been okay so far.
Sean Rhyan, your new center, regardless of the configuration, it has not been great so far this year. Now banged up. Do you think that this Packers offensive line remains a major concern moving forward?
Absolutely, it's a major concern. I mean, when you lose a guy like Elton Jenkins, it's problematic. I mean, Aaron Banks hasn't been able to stay healthy or be that good most of the season. So that's 2 questions on the interior of your line. They haven't been able to be consistent. They haven't been able to be healthy. Jordan Love's been under pressure quite a bit. So it's incredibly concerning the way the offensive line has played this year, and they need him to be better. They need him to be improved if they're going to be as successful on offense as we want them to be. It all starts there, because Jordan Love, can't be as successful as we all think he can be if he's getting sacked, if he's got pressure in his face all the time when he's dropping back. So you got to get the protection up front right. Losing Elton Jenkins is a massive blow to that. We'll see how Sean Ryan does. Hopefully he does well. I'm pulling for him to do well, do great things, but time will tell if he can figure it out. But it's still very much a concern.
Well, you mentioned Hafley and the potential of him becoming the head coach in Green Bay if they were to move off of Matt LaFleur. Well, Matt Schneidman, friend of the program, has this on The Athletic. Jeff Hafley will perform his current job as Green Bay Packers defensive coordinator on Sunday at MetLife Stadium against the New York Giants, but he also might be auditioning for his next role. How much of a loss would it be for the Packers if they were to have to once again find a new defensive coordinator in 2026?
It'd be a massive loss. I mean, Jeff Hafley is such an important part of what this group has done, because for so many years we've looked at this Packers defense and just said, we just need it to be better. Just need an average defense. A top 10 defense would be nice. You put a top 10 defense on this team, you're winning the Super Bowl. Right now they got a top 10 defense. And Jeff Hafley has been a big part of that, moving on from Joe Barry and that team and what they were doing. I mean, when you got Preston Smith in coverage on a number one wide receiver, what are we doing here? Jeff Hafley has never done that, I don't think, in his tenure here with Green Bay. So it'd be a massive loss to see him go elsewhere. And that's where, again, as I brought up the idea a little bit earlier, if this continues with the offense with LaFleur, and LaFleur does end up getting shown the door, I think one of the first candidates on your list, if you're at policy, has to be Jeff Hafley.
Yeah, I just think that you have an opportunity here to make the most of what you have. If Hafley's a head coach next year and he's a really good one, you're going to look back on the 2025 season and hope you capitalize completely on the opportunity to have him, right? This is a year where the defense is elite. You have an elite defensive coordinator and a potential future head coach in that spot. Makes it ever more important to fix the offensive side of the ball and get back on track moving forward. Doc Rivers had some comments following the Bucks 111-100 loss to the Hornets. No Giannis in that game. Here is his take on his team's performance.
I think AJ and Gary probably understand the importance of Giannis more than anybody tonight. But I think our team, this is a good lesson for us too. I think we can see a lot of things that we could have done better. I thought Ryan played really well overall under pressure. We got killed on the glass again, but it was just more the ball movement to me offensively.
There was no Giannis, so you can't really look at this as a finished product and consider the Bucks at full strength. But from what I mentioned earlier and what we saw, Ryan Rollins, man, 25 points. He's averaging 17 points and nearly 6 assists this year. And this is a guy that people were unsure if they should keep on their roster, and ultimately they cut him and then brought him back again. I feel like you got lucky here to be able to retain this dude after placing him back out there for anyone else to claim.
Yeah, it's one of the actual few success stories for the Bucks when it comes to young players, bringing them in. I don't believe Rollins was drafted, but still.
He was second round by the Warriors, I believe, but a couple years ago. But still, it's like second round,
but not drafted by the
not
Bucks.
Drafted.
Yeah.
Correct. You're right. Yes.
Yeah. So, you get him in, and you've been able to really kind of develop him almost into this, really key player on your roster. And we've seen the Bucks over the years really kind of struggle with that, trying to bring in fresh, young talent, young players, and turn them into quality guys in the NBA. So you have really kind of one of your first success stories in a long time with Ryan Rollins here. So, I'm excited. I mean, it's great to see him grow, and excited to see what he can continue to do for this team, as the Bucks are going to need him throughout the season.
Absolutely going to need him. Big time player for them so far this season. And I think that that's one of those things that you're just going to count your lucky stars come the end of the year that you got this guy. I think Chris Middleton move initially. He's a throw-in and he becomes a star. Rollins kind of feels like one of those dudes who's going under the radar and can get it done as well. And I think we'll call it here for Bruisers Bites. Brewers conversation to be had coming up with GM meetings, etc. So we'll lean into that after the break. But as always, our Bruisers Bites brought to you by Wisconsin Concrete Coatings, wiconcretecoatings.com. Check out their website, sign up for a consult, and see if they can maybe make your property the place you've always wanted it to be. Most specifically your garage, but honest, you ask them about anything else, I'm sure that there's a possibility that they could enhance your property. So wiconcretecoatings.com.
Absolutely fantastic, and fantastic Bruisers Bites today. There's a lot going on in the GM meetings going on in baseball. They're finishing up here today out in Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas! And they're starting the rumors, they're starting the conversations. Things are percolating there around Major League Baseball and the offseason getting underway. Now, it doesn't get off with it doesn't start with a bang like most offseason, like the NFL, NBA offseason. Those start off with a bang every single time. As soon as free agency opens, you got a whole bunch of the league signing right away. Major League Baseball, a little bit slower of a pace. There's no pitch clock on the offseason, although I'm sure Rob Manfred's going to try to put that in there at some point because that's just what he likes to do. So we got that coming up on the other side. We'll also hear more from you. We'll get your texts in on the jersey conversation that we were having earlier as well. How many jerseys do you have? What's your favorite? What's your most random? Nick is sporting the New York Jets Brett Favre jersey today, and that kind of kickstarted this whole thing. And that's just, he was there 1 year, and it wasn't even that great of a season, but had to get it.
He played through a biceps injury that year. So
he played through everything. My goodness,
that's the thing.
That
they
guy
started, I think, like 6-1 or 6-2, and then he was hurt and he was playing through it, and then he tanked the rest of the year.
Yeah, it's and then he had other issues that he ended up dealing with. Then he retired again, and then he unretired, and then he joined the Minnesota Vikings, and they still have 0 Super Bowl trophies over there. But just saying. Coming up on the other side, we'll get some Brewers conversation, some offseason talk coming up, and see what Matt Arnold has been saying out in Las Vegas. That's coming up next. You're listening to DND here on The Game.
Las Vegas. How I wish that there were more than the 24 hours in the day. Even if there were 4.
Want to watch DND? They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
I like him even more.
Just search 97.3 The Game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1970.
Don't keep me waiting here. Lead me to
The Beatles released the Phil Spector-produced album Let It Be. It generates 3 number-1 hits, Get Back, Let It Be, and their final number 1, The Long and Winding Road. The Kinks song Lola, about a romantic encounter with a transvestite, makes number 2 UK and number 9 US. In July, the Stooges released their second album on Elektra Records, Fun House, and British band Mungo Jerry are number 1 in the UK, number 3 in the US with the single In the Summertime.
Have a drink, have a drive, go out and see what you can find.
In August, Eric Clapton releases his first solo album and scores a top 20 hit with his cover of J.J. Cale's After Midnight. Neil Diamond scores his first number 1 with Cracklin' Rosie. September of 1970, Neil Young has a top 10 album with After the Gold Rush. War, an anti-war protest song by Edwin Starr, tops the charts.
What is it good for? You tell me. Say it.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1970. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1970.
25 or 6 to 4.
Chicago breaks through with their second album, generating 3 top 10 singles, Color My World, 25 or 6 to 4, and Make Me Smile. And Simon & Garfunkel released the album Bridge Over Troubled Water. It would win the Grammy for Album of the Year. The single of the same name would also hit number 1.
and lay me down.
In February of 1970, Paul McCartney files a petition with the court to dissolve the Beatles partnership. James Taylor leaves Apple Records and releases the album Sweet Baby James on Warner Brothers. He has a number 3 single with Fire and Rain and receives major publicity as a leader in the wave of new, more mellow singer-songwriters of the time.
Let it roll all night long.
The Doors get back to the blues with the album Morrison Hotel, which climbs to number 4 on the album charts. In March, Crosby, Stills, and Nash add Neil Young to their lineup and have a number 1 album with Deja Vu, which includes 3 top 40 singles. And New York hard rockers Mountain released their debut Climbing with the single Mississippi Queen.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1970. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1967.
Try to set the night on fire.
In January of 1967, Los Angeles band The Doors released their debut album, which eventually goes to number 2, and features the single Light My Fire, which goes to number 1 in July. The Rolling Stones released Ruby Tuesday, an ode to a groupie written by Keith Richards. The song takes them to number 1 in the U.S. in March. And San Francisco band The Jefferson Airplane released the surrealistic Pillow album, scoring 2 top 10 hits with White Rabbit and Somebody to Love.
Don't you want somebody to love? Don't you need somebody to love? Wouldn't you love somebody to love? You better find somebody to love.
In March of 67, Buffalo Springfield re-releases their debut album to include the hit single For What It's Worth. In April of 67, Give Me Some Lovin' by the Spencer Davis Group goes to number 7 in the U.S., with vocals by 17-year-old Steve Winwood. And in May, Elvis Presley marries his 21-year-old girlfriend Priscilla in Las Vegas. In May, Mitch Ryder hits number 4 with Devil with a Blue Dress, Good Golly Miss Molly. And the Jimi Hendrix Experience released their debut in the UK. In July, they toured the U.S. as the opening act for the Monkees in support of the U.S. album release.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1967. Coming up.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Rick Springfield to get some insight on his latest release, Rocket Science.
It's a guitar-based record for sure, and I love big hooks, and not a country record at all. It's a rock and roll record. But it does have some, country elements.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from Rick Springfield and all your favorite artists.
If you really want to support our troops, just contact the USO.
You can't believe how much they do for us.
To find out how you can help, visit us at USO.org. The USO, until everyone comes home.
Continues on the game here, a Thirsty Thursday edition, getting you through your workday. Dave Gasper here alongside Nick Brusewitz. You can join the show on the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line 877-794-1973. And the GM meetings are underway. They're just about wrapping up right now in Las Vegas. All 30 MLB general managers and presidents of baseball operations are out there, and they're talking to each other, and they're getting a sense, okay, what do you need? What do you want? What are you looking for? What do you have available? And you're letting them know what you have available. And you guys they're starting the conversations. And this is where the foundations of these trades that end up happening later on in the offseason end up getting built. So now we're starting to see kind of a lot of the rumors, a lot of the talk starting to percolate here, coming from the baseball insiders, the Ken Rosenthal's, the Jeff Passons of the world. And, the Brewers, they're coming off 97 wins and 3 straight NL Central Division championships. They're coming off a trip to the National League Championship Series where they lost in 4. And my question is, where do you see as the biggest need for the Brewers to address this offseason? 877-794-1973. What do you think is the biggest need the Brewers have? Who would you like to see them get this offseason? Pretty much everyone's out there on the board right now. Who would you like to see the Brewers get? preferably somewhat within reason, because as much as you'd like to say Kyle Tucker, hate to break it to you, Kyle Tucker is not coming to the Milwaukee Brewers. Ain't going to be happening. But where do you see as the biggest need for the Brewers roster heading into 2026 that they need to improve? I think, an obvious spot where they can add some guys, Nick, is the bullpen. They're going to look for one or two at least bullpen arms this offseason. I think you could look for a utility infielder, maybe get an improvement over Andrew Monasterio and Anthony Siegler. But the one need that I see that I think maybe some people are overlooking or haven't quite viewed as a need yet is left field.
Wow.
Yeah. I know Isaac Collins just finished 4th in Rookie of the Year voting. But is Christian Yelich really going to play more there next year? Probably not. I'd expect him to still do quite a bit of DHing. Isaac Collins, as much as, I appreciate what he did and I thought he had a good season, I think there's a decent chance that he ends up regressing next year. He already kind of started to regress over the final 6 weeks of the season. Could he turn things around? Sure. But I think you can also improve upon Isaac Collins in left field. You got Garrett Mitchell coming back from injury, but you really don't know what you can count on there with Garrett Mitchell. You don't know how long you can count on him being there. I think ideally Garrett Mitchell would be their everyday left fielder, but I don't know if you can, or everyday center fielder even, him and Blake Perkins switching off in center and have Chourio in left. But with what we saw down the stretch here, Chourio playing a ton of center field, which left a lot of Isaac Collins in left. And I think there's a spot to maybe add there in the outfield because, I'm not certain Collins is going to be able to do this again. Blake Perkins is a 4th outfielder type. Garrett Mitchell, you don't know what you're going to get. I think maybe looking at a little bit of insurance isn't the worst idea in the world. What do you think?
I think it makes sense, Dave. I find it hard to find a spot that it's obvious that they need help at. I think in June you would have said, okay, first base is a huge question going into the offseason. Who will they get to address that position? Because it didn't feel like Rhys Hoskins was the future. Now you get Andrew Vaughn and you're like, okay, well, we have to give him a chance here to be the future because of what we saw from him. When he was initially in the big leagues, he couldn't stop hitting home runs and driving guys in. And then additionally, he hit for average the rest of the way. He's a good player, and it seems like Andrew Vaughn's going to get the shot there. So, left field, and do you honestly bank on a lack of regression from Christian Yelich? And I'm not trying to be that guy, but he had a really strong campaign, which was return to form for him in a lot of different ways, but he couldn't hit a lefty. In the postseason, he didn't hit at all, which is kind of common. And Isaac Collins is a dude that's 28 years old as a rookie. Like, there's a reason why he hadn't made it to the big leagues yet. There are a bunch of guys, bunch of them, that make their career after being longtime minor leaguers. But the reality is, and more often than not, these guys are not, suddenly much better players when they're past their prime or nearing their prime in terms of age. And he's 7 years older than Jackson Chourio, right?
Yeah. Well,
played less baseball.
Yeah, no one's expecting Isaac Collins to all of a sudden turn into Jackson Chourio.
No, but it takes a long time for these guys to develop in the minor leagues, but typically not that long.
Yeah, some guys are just late bloomers. Some just have to be put in the right situation. Isaac Collins started off in the Colorado Rockies organization. Okay, they're not entirely the best at developing young players. Right. So perhaps that's just what he needed. But yeah, I think that's a spot that you could stand to improve. And Mailman Jeff texts in at 877-794-1973 on the NickLayLaw.com talk and text line, praying for one full year of a healthy Garrett Mitchell to see if all the hype is really there. He might solve a bunch of your problems. I completely agree, Mailman Jeff. I would love just give me one fully healthy season of Garrett Mitchell. Just see what he can do, because when he is out there, when he has been out there, you have seen it. You have seen the talent, the power, the speed, the hitting ability. It's all there with Garrett Mitchell. The only ability he hasn't had is availability, which is kind of the most important ability to have. Just would love one fully healthy season of Garrett Mitchell playing, 130 even, 130 games out of the year, hell, even 120, just something, just play out there, because in his 4 seasons in the major leagues, he has yet to fully accrue 162 games combined between them, which is amazing. I mean, he's hitting arbitration this year, and he has not even played a full season combined. He's got 141 games under his belt and 390 total at-bats across 4 seasons. Now, his best season, the one where he had the most playing time, 2024, when he missed the first 3 months but was able to be healthy for the second half of the season, he accrued 2 wins above replacement. I mean, he was hitting in the mid 250s, 800 plus OPS. It's there. Yeah. But how much can you count on him being there? That's the tough part that the Brewers have to figure out. Could they just roll with it and hope he is healthy this year? Yeah, but I think you also could look at potentially some insurance out there in the outfield as well. And reports are that just about every team in baseball is looking for an everyday outfielder. So that is something that the Brewers could be in the market for. It's something to watch, I think, at least with the outfield. Unnamed in the 515 out in Iowa, texting a shortstop that can hit. Well, where's the bell? Bell's over in the other room.
Well, and the question would be, Dave, if there's any question in your mind if Joey Ortiz is their future shortstop, like if their shortstop position is already settled. Do you think so? Do you think Joey Ortiz is kind of slotted in? He's going to be that guy at least this next season?
I think Joey Ortiz is going to be the guy this next season, and partially because, I mean, you look at how expensive it is to get shortstops that can hit out on the market. I mean, free agent wise, you want Bo Bichette? Great. Bo Bichette's going to cost you $200 million. Bo Bichette's probably going to cost you more than Willy Adames. If the Brewers were going to pay that much for a shortstop that could hit, they would have just kept Willy Adames. Instead, they let him walk. So Bo Bichette, he's kind of your everyday shortstop that can hit out there that I don't see the Brewers getting. You could maybe look to the trade market to try and find one for the interim. But also, if you're the Brewers, if you're Matt Arnold and you're looking at young players that you're trying to fit in to this team for long-term team control, you have got 3 top 100 shortstop prospects in your system in the upper levels of the minors. I mean, we got Cooper Pratt, who's going to be starting next year at AAA. Jesus Made, who's arguably the top prospect in all of baseball. He's going to be starting next year at AA. He's not that far away. So I think you head into this next season with Joey Ortiz, because Joey Ortiz is a very good defensive shortstop. I think you head into next year with Ortiz, and you hope the bat can turn things around, can get better. It's hard for the bat to have been worse than it was this past year. And we saw some good things with him offensively in 2024. So there is potential with Joey Ortiz offensively. I think you roll with him for at least this next year, see what he can do. If he really struggles, I think Cooper Pratt ends up being the guy who gets called up. And, even still, I think the long-term future is probably going to be Jesus Made at that spot, because he is on the Jackson Chourio level rise. He is on that kind of trajectory. And if you can have him in that lineup at shortstop, I think those prayers are going to be answered soon at the shortstop position, but I don't think they're necessarily going to be this next year. I'd like to see Joey Ortiz get better, but I'm also not entirely expecting him to all of a sudden be putting up the Willy Adames type numbers that we've kind of become accustomed to the last couple of seasons.
And I think that's fair. I think that they're just 2 different players, and Joey Ortiz, for what he is a really, really good asset to have. The problem is when there's a void of offensive production from that side of the infield in home run potential, you look to one of those 2 to be that guy. And maybe Caleb Durbin continues to develop into what he had shown on occasion this past season. If Durbin can ever become like a 20 home run guy, okay, then you're doing okay with Joey Ortiz, hopefully hitting 10. But you got to find a way to get more pop, and that side of the infield is right now not necessarily living up to that. I did see a trade hypothetical from former MLB general manager Jim Duquette, I believe is how you say his name. Maybe it's Duquette.
Jim Duquette.
Mets and Orioles, formerly a general manager there. And he had a Mets trade. They received, the Mets do, Freddie Peralta. In return, Milwaukee gets Brandon Sproat, Jonah Tong, and Ryan Clifford, which are the two top pitching prospects, Sproat and Tong, starting pitchers. And Ryan Clifford is a guy apparently on the verge of cracking the MLB's top 100. Is that at least pique your interest?
It piques my interest a little bit here. Brandon Sproat, number 5 prospect for the Mets. Clifford, their number 8 prospect. And then Jonah Tong, he was getting a bunch of hype later in the season here and then made his MLB debut. Got a bunch of starts in there. Their number 4 prospect. So you got 3 of the Mets' top 10 prospects. Tong kind of struggled in his debut for the Mets, 7.71 ERA in 5 games for the big league club. But I think that's something that's very enticing. I mean, those are 2 controllable pitchers for Freddie Peralta and Ryan Clifford, a corner bat who's close to big league ready, left-handed hitter, big power that you can have. I mean, last year hit 29 home runs across AA and AAA. So I think that would definitely pique my interest for 1 year of Freddie Peralta. I mean,
is there a reason why Jim Duquette doesn't have a job anymore? Is this too rich? Is this too much?
that might be. that might be. That's a tough part with some of these like Jim Duquette, Jim Bowden, like some of those guys. It's like, oh man, there's no wonder you're not.
Are you slamming accept if you receive that trade? Like, hey, here are the 3 I'll give you for Freddie Peralta. Are you rushing to press accept on that?
If you're Matt Arnold, I think you might be. That's 2 big league ready starting pitchers plus a basically big league ready slugger at first base. So yeah, that's certainly a possibility. I don't know if David Stearns will actually offer that to Matt Arnold, because I mean, David Stearns, he loves having young controllable pitchers as well on his team. So I mean, those 2 guys are kind of cut from the same cloth. But Freddie Peralta trade is certainly something that's been talked about as well. Matt Arnold speaking on that as well as at the winter meetings, and basically saying everyone's interested in Freddie Peralta. And we've got to be open. We're not going to close off any discussions, not going to close any doors. We just got to kind of see what ends up happening. So kind of the usual lines from Matt Arnold about being a small market team and looking at one last year of control of Freddie Peralta. How do you best value it, especially being a pitcher, the volatility of that position? Is it maybe better to trade him and move on and get some young talent back? I maintain that I think it's going to be I'm pretty split on whether or not they end up keeping him, but I lean slightly towards Freddie Peralta staying. About 51% he stays, 49% he goes. And I think a lot of it is going to be dependent, too, on what happens with Brandon Woodruff. Because if Woodruff comes back, I think that makes it easier for them to deal Freddie, because you want to have at least one of them leading your starting rotation. If Woodruff leaves, I think it's far more likely that Peralta ends up staying. And that's really, I think, what the crux of it is going to be. We won't know I don't think the Brewers will make a move on Freddie Peralta until Brandon Woodruff makes his move, whether he comes back, whether he signs elsewhere, whatever it is. I don't think the Brewers can make a move on Peralta until Brandon Woodruff has decided.
And I'd love for there to be an accelerated timeline on the, offseason decision-making process of the players and free agency. And it's just all spread out. I mean, Woody could take as long as he wants, right? I mean, he has to make the decision on the qualifying offer in the near future, right?
Yes, by the 18th. So he's got to make a decision by next week, Tuesday. He has to make the decision on qualifying offer, but he could wait until January to sign if he wants to, or February.
And he could still be a Brewer at that point, right?
He could
mean that he didn't accept the qualifying offer.
Yeah, they could still bring him back, and we'll see kind of how that market plays out. Mike and Merrill text in on the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line 877-794-1973. Jesus Made will be brought up by the 4th of July if Joey doesn't hit over 200, and then platooned at shortstop. I don't think it'll be Made called up that early. I think if Joey doesn't hit over 200 by the 4th of July, I think that's more a Cooper Pratt decision at shortstop, just because he's a little bit further along, a little bit closer. Pratt spent the entire year in Double-A this past year. Made started in Low-A, kind of made it there towards the end. So I think this is going to be a year where we see Made mostly in AA, maybe a late promotion to AAA. But Cooper Pratt might be that guy next year if Joey continues to struggle. And maybe Pratt could lock it. I mean, Pratt's a top 100 prospect in and of itself. Also, sending in Joey's an injury on another team away from being traded. Then his stock raises exponentially because of his defense and can feel confident that you're getting something back. Yeah, I think for a controllable, strong defensive shortstop in Joey Ortiz, you could get something back, yes. But that does kind of leave you in a bit of a bind in the meantime at shortstop, because I don't think Pratt is ready quite yet. He's still going to need a little bit more time in AAA before he can come up and be that solution. And I don't think the Brewers want to move Bryce Terang over there either. They tried it. They thought about it in spring training this year. Ultimately, his shoulder started barking at him with the longer throws, and they moved him back to second base. And I think ultimately they're just going to end up keeping Bryce Terang at second base going forward. Mark in Madison, Texan, do you want Woodruff back? He's too undependable. I kind of want Woodruff back. Yeah, I think with what he brings to the team. I mean, we saw this year when he came back on the roster, they immediately went on an 11-game winning streak, and then they ended up going on a 14-game winning streak. They went 29-4, or was it 30-4? I think they ended up going. They went like 30-4 immediately after Brandon Woodruff was brought back on the roster. So
yeah,
I do want Woodruff back. I think he's a great person to have in the clubhouse, great guy to have in the rotation. Yeah, there are the injury concerns, but I mean, there's also injury concerns with basically any pitcher. I mean, we saw just about everyone not named Freddie Peralta hit the injured list from that starting rotation this past year. So that's something where I think the Brewers want Woodruff back. Matt Arnold has said as much as well at the winter meetings, and I would like to see him back in a Brewers uniform. I think this is a spot where he can finish his career, and he'd be the type of player that you can bring back on a 2 to 3 year deal. And it's not going to be as much money as he would have made prior to his surgery, but I think he's someone that would make a ton of sense for the Brewers to bring back.
Absolutely. I think that's just a matter of what the value is in return. If he feels like he's worth more than the Brewers are willing to part with for him, then credit to him. He deserves a chance to hit open free agency. Problem is he's just hurt. And he did not catch any breaks there. Regardless, people are going to have concerns about his lack of ability to stay healthy. And we'll see. This one's a little bit less significant, obviously, than the massive shoulder surgery.
Yeah, exactly. So he should be good to go to start spring training next year. And that's the important part for him. It's not the actual shoulder that's injured for him, and he should be ready to go. Doesn't need any more surgeries after that. One last text here out the door from Mike and Merrill, kind of clarifying on the shortstop there. I'm just looking at the offensive numbers. Pratt's defense is really solid. Pratt's a great defender at shortstop. The offensive numbers took a bit of a dip this year in AA Biloxi, but also the Southern League that he's playing in down there, it's a very pitcher-friendly league. There are very few hitters that are having any sort of traditional success out there. The reports on Pratt, I can say, were still really, really good at the plate. So I think putting him in the International League, putting him in AAA in Nashville next year, I think we're going to see those numbers bounce back up. Coming up on the other side, we'll wrap things up from the NicolaLaw.com talk and text line. We'll clean things up there. We'll have our closing ceremonies. It's D&D here on the game.
You just gotta keep screaming till they hear you out.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
D&D will be back in just a moment. Brewers manager Pat Murphy was named the NL Manager of the Year again.
I've seen that before. You're probably right.
He's the first manager in the National League to win the award in back-to-back seasons since 2005.
Arnold brings me these guys I've never heard of, and he swears that they're good. And you know what? He's right most of the time. These guys are hungry to play. They're aware of what it takes, and I'm just proud to be part of it.
Well done, Murph.
We call him Forrest Gump.
Congratulations from the whole team here at the game. Have a pocket pancake on us.
They're wonderful. You want some?
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1971.
February, 4 months after her death, Janis Joplin's album Pearl is released and goes to #1. The single Me and Bobby McGee also tops the chart. Bill Withers hits number 3 with the single Ain't No Sunshine from his debut album produced by Booker T. Jones. In March of '71, Carole King releases her first solo album and scores 2 #1 singles, I Feel the Earth Move and It's Too Late. And UK progressive rockers Jethro Tull have a top 10 album on both sides of the Atlantic with Aqualung.
Running down his nose, greasy fingers smearing shabby clothes. Hey, Aqualung.
In April, the Temptations topped the charts with Just My Imagination, their third #1 and their 13th top 10 single. Three Dog Night have their second #1 single with Joy to the World. And the Rolling Stones album Sticky Fingers is released, including the #1 single Brown Sugar.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1971, coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1975.
In September, the Isley Brothers have a #1 album, The Heat Is On, driven by the #4 single, Fight the Power. Alive is a 2-record live album that goes to #9 for Kiss. They released the single Rock and Roll All Night, which goes to #12. David Bowie switches to Philly Soul on the LP Young Americans, featuring the #1 single Fame, which was co-written by John Lennon. UK rock band Foghat have a top 20 hit with Slow Ride from the album Fool for the City. In October of '75, Pink Floyd released their follow-up to Dark Side of the Moon. Wish You Were Here goes to #1 in the US and the UK.
What have we found? Same old fears. Wish you were here.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1975, coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1969.
In May of '69, Neil Young releases his first album with Crazy Horse, Everyone Knows This Is Nowhere, featuring the songs Cinnamon Girl and Down by the River. The Who released a double concept album, Tommy, which goes top 10 in the US and the UK.
Even on my favorite table, he can't beat my best. His disciples needed him, and he just does the rest. Stop crazy, flipping fingers. Never seen him fall. That gift of a blind kid sure plays a mean pinball.
David Bowie's single Space Oddity, released to coincide with the Apollo 11 moon landing, reaches #5 in the UK. Also in July, Bob Dylan has a top 10 hit with Lay Lady Lay in his new, deeper-sounding vocal style, which he attributes to quitting smoking.
Whatever colors you have in your mind, I'll show them to you, and you see them shine. Lay, lady, lay, play across my big brass bed.
Blood, Sweat, and Tears have a #2 hit with Spinning Wheel, popularizing the so-called brass rock movement that includes BST, Chicago, and Electric Flag.
Drop all your troubles by the riverside. Catch a painted pony on the spinning wheel ride.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1969, coming up.
For money-saving tips that can help put your financial house in order and avoid future financial headaches, call the National Foundation for Credit Counseling today at 1-800-388-2227 or visit them at nfcc.org, a public service from the NFCC.
Just a few minutes remaining here on DND on the Game before we turn things over to Drew and KB coming up at the top of the hour. But we've been having a ton of interaction all day long on the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line at 877-794-1973. We were talking early because Nick is wearing a Brett Favre Jets jersey today. So we were talking about how many jerseys do you own and which one is your favorite and what's your most random jersey that you have. And we got ton of text coming in. Asian Crystalani has a Randy Moss Patriots jersey in there that he's proud of. Unnamed in the 920, Sam Gatto. Now that's a pull. That's a fantastic jersey.
Saw
pull
a couple
right
of
there.
those earlier. So
yeah,
credit to Sam Con. I mean, what a great time.
Dr. Sam Gatto. Yeah.
What a life he's lived.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely incredible. Wayne in Nash Vegas. I still have some jerseys from when I was in high school. A Jordan USA Olympic Dream Team, Charles Barkley Suns jersey, Dennis Rodman Bulls and Spurs jersey, all safe for my son. I also have a Prince Fielder Sounds jersey. All right. Get the Nashville Sounds in there in Nash Vegas.
Yeah.
Love
I
it.
texted him when he texted that. I responded. I said, your son is lucky. I mean, your
Oh,
son's
yeah.
going to have the sweetest jerseys because of dad holding on to them for years.
Yeah, absolutely. Unnamed in the 262 has 10 plus jerseys, a combination of Brewers, Packers, and Marquette. John in Fitchburg here texts in a picture of basically a two-fisted Slopper jersey. You know, it says F Slopper with the number 2. I will say though, John, I only see one beer in your hand. So if you're going to be the
nice.
two-fisted Slopper, you know, that they play before the Brewer games, you know, the cartoon, I don't see a beer in your other hand. Now, your other hand is further down. It's out of the picture, so we can't see it. So I'm sure you have another beer in there, but I only see one here, John. But fantastic jersey. Eric and Prairie, the most important jersey I have is a Tauscher jersey. He lives in my town, has coached my kid in youth football, and his kid plays football with my kid. Jason in Hales Corners has a Michael Finley, number 24, Wisconsin jersey. Luke in Fall Creek.
10 seconds.
I know. Aaron Campman, Detlef Shrimp, and Jason Williams, TJ Ford, John Rocker as well. Fantastic. We appreciate all of you. This has been DND on the game.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top police songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, Roxanne.